The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
Standard Heating is having their 94-year celebration. They have special offers just for you this February. Whether you need a new furnace or a tune-up, they have something special for everyone. Visit standardheating.com to save today.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93.
I'm staying at a hotel right now. There's no 13th floor because of superstition. But come on, man. The people on the 14th floor, you know what floor you're really on. I went to a pizzeria. I ordered a slice of pizza. The dude gave me the smallest slice possible. If the pizza was a pie chart for what people would do if they found $1 million, this dude gave me the donate to charity slice. I ordered a club sandwich all the time, and I'm not even a member, man. I don't know how I get away with it. I like my sandwiches with 3 pieces of bread. So do I. Well, let's form a club.
I don't think I'm into sports just because I'm a man. I'm not into sports. I mean, I like Gatorade. That's about as far as it goes. And by the way, you don't have to be sweating and holding a basketball to enjoy a Gatorade. You can just be a thirsty dude.
If you're watching a parade, make sure you stand in one spot. Don't follow it. It never changes. And if you don't like the parade, run in the opposite direction. You will fast forward the parade.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ducks eat for free at Subway.
Well, I'll be damned. We've come to that time again, time to punch in and begin another edition of the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. Hope everyone's doing well, and thanks for tuning us in. Hedberg, huh, Josh? Mitch Hedberg.
Mitch Hedberg. Boy, was he great. So good. It was fun to have him while we did on this earth. You and I saw him together, and he was incredible. That's the first time I'd ever seen... Well, yes, I've seen him twice. That was the first time I ever saw him, and he stole the show.
You see, every time we talk about this, I feel great shame. Great shame. So what's the occasion? Is it his birthday, the anniversary?
Tomorrow would have been his birthday.
Tomorrow would have been his birthday.
Yeah.
I have, probably because I was a heavy friggin' drinker back then, I have absolutely zero memory of seeing Mitch Hedberg at all.
You were quite inebriated.
Was I?
Yeah.
Yes. Was that the night we met the little short guy?
Yes. Same show, and there was a bunch of comedians. Patton Oswalt you're talking about.
I remember.
Patton Oswalt was great, too, but Mitch Hedberg, man, I had never seen anything like that before.
You know, there's a lot of stuff I'm completely content forgetting. You know what I mean? In my drinking days, did I say that and make any sense at all?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm completely comfortable with a lot of what I can't remember anymore from when I was really hammering the beers. I'm aggravated that I can't remember this Hedberg show at all. I mean, was I awake?
Yeah, well, I can tell you enjoyed it quite thoroughly.
Did I?
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. I remember meeting that little guy,
Patton Oswalt.
Peyton Roswell.
Yeah, he was the headliner.
For Christ's sake.
That's the first night we made love. Oh. Do you remember that at all?
I don't remember a thing.
Well, that's a shame, but I promise you it happened.
Except kind of like that scene from 16 Candles when they wake up in the back of the car. I remember when I woke up, I felt good.
Yeah.
I felt your arms held me tight.
That's right.
But I don't remember the lovemaking at all. There you go. All right. Mitch Hedberg. Tomorrow will be the anniversary of his death. No, tomorrow will be his birthday.
Would have been his birthday, correct.
Yeah, I mean, I totally missed the boat on the guy's career, you know, in the beginning. And then here, Josh and I go see a show, and I can't remember an effing thing.
People had told us beforehand, you got to check this guy out. He's a local guy. He's awesome. You know, he's different than what you've seen before, and he was.
Didn't we kind of want to punch that Peyton Roswell, though?
Patton Oswalt, you know what? I think he can be very funny, but he was kind of a jerk to us.
When we went backstage, I remember that, and we wanted to knock him out.
We felt like douchebags. You know, they said, hey, come backstage and meet him. Right?
We didn't really want to.
Yeah, and it was no offense against him, but we kind of felt like douchebags, you know. And they brought us back there, the people running the show, and we met him, and he had no interest. He didn't want to fake being polite. I don't know if he was in a bad mood or, you know, maybe before a show he needs to concentrate. So I don't know he had an off day. I don't know. He seems like a nice guy.
And according to you, I was drunk enough to where I might have punched Peyton Roswell.
Well, yeah, I remember you being upset. It's weird. You keep forgetting his name. Patton Oswalt.
Oswalt.
Yeah. And I remember both of us were like, this guy's a real jerk.
Yeah.
I don't know, but then you probably don't remember.
I do remember his bits and pieces of his act.
He was incredible.
And we were roaring.
Yeah, we thought, I'd be a jerk to me too if I had that much talent. He was so good. Man, was he good.
You think if we would have beat his ass, you think he still would have taken the stage?
Probably. He's committed to the craft.
Committed to his craft? Okay. That's a long time ago.
Oh, it's funny. Yeah, Medical Device Jesus said, didn't you say he was kind of a prick in person? Yeah, he was. But that was one time. Maybe he's not like that.
Right.
It could have been an off day for him, but he was so good.
A lot of the Roswell family aggravates me. A lot of Roswells that I've met over the years. They just rub me the wrong way. What are you going to do? Here we go. What happened now? Yesterday, we took a day off. Maybe you noticed, maybe you didn't. But yesterday we took a day off to celebrate the Mr. Big Show from Wednesday night. Josh and I, being lifelong fans, we didn't want any distractions from enjoying the show. The band is on their legitimate farewell tour. I'm glad we took yesterday off. It helped make a great show even more enjoyable, just to have, no reason to be stressed about show prep or waking up early in the morning. It made it that much more enjoyable. And the show turned out to be even better than I imagined it would.
It was incredible.
Just a perfect performance by the boys. Josh, it was your first time seeing this band that you have absolutely worshipped for decades. You had dreamed about it. Did it live up to what you might have hoped for? Even
more so. I mean, I've watched them. I've listened to all the live records, watched them live on YouTube a ton, but being in person was so much better. And, we had really nice seats. We were really close to Paul Gilbert, one of my favorite guitar players. I was in awe. There was a couple times where it got kind of quiet, and I wanted to yell to him and tell him how much I loved him, but I was afraid that would ruin our relationship. I mean, I was this close a couple times just to yell, I love you, Paul, but I chose not to.
That would have been hilarious.
It wasn't that type of crowd. People weren't rowdy. They were very respectful and very into what was going on stage.
Right.
And Nick and I were talking about this off air a little bit. The band, you could tell, really appreciated the support they got.
Definitely.
Unless they're really good actors, it seemed like it meant a lot to them. Especially Billy Sheehan, their bass player, afterwards. Ashley was there. Had a lot of nice things to say to the crowd, and he seemed very moved by the whole show.
I think, they're soaking it up. They're knowing this. Ridiculous. Why would I talk like that? They're quite aware of this is it. This is their final go around, and so I think they're soaking up, every little bit of the time together and the time with their fans. So yeah, I think it's very legitimate. And yeah, Ashley and her cheapskate boyfriend were also at the show, and the two of yous are just slightly familiar with the band. So someone who really didn't know what to expect, you and your boyfriend, how did you guys like it? Because that's, like we were talking about last week, what Josh and I really have enjoyed over the years is introducing this band to people and watching their reaction and watching them say, wow, how did I miss out on this? So how did you and your boyfriend dig it?
It was incredible. We had so much fun. My cheeks hurt after the concert because the whole time I was just smiling nonstop. I mean, the guitar solos were so good. And actually, my boyfriend recorded the very long guitar solo that Paul Gilbert had. And in the video, you can hear me say to him, I bet Josh just finished.
That's gross, but accurate. He played the Rocky theme. He played in his guitar solo, his solo, right?
Right.
He played some riffs from a couple songs they didn't play that night. That was really cool. And what was cool, too, is where Nick and I were sitting, we could see side stage where, again, their bass player, Billy Sheehan, was. And he's looking on at this guitar player that he's known for decades, that he sees perform every night on tour with awe.
Yeah.
And he's clapping for him. I thought that was cool, that they don't hate each other after all this time.
Have they said why that they're calling it quits at all, or have they alluded to any reason, or just getting old?
I haven't.
You haven't heard?
I haven't read anything, nor did I really care to look into such a thing. My assumption is just,
I'm assuming partly it has to do with their original drummer, Pat Torpy, is no longer with us. He passed away. And
that took the wind out of their sails a little
bit. It really did, yeah.
And so that probably factors in. And just, I like a band who knows when to say when. Mm-hmm. So it might just be, hey, look, we're in our friggin' 60s now. Let's go, live our lives a little bit. I'll admit that I peeked over your way, Ashley, to see if you and your boyfriend were enjoying it. And every time I looked over, you were dancing your ass off.
Yeah. That was cool to see. And it was also cool to see so many young people in the crowd. I was surprised by that. A lot of times you go to some of these 80s bands and it's all dudes our age, and only dudes our age, unless it's like a Motley Crue or something.
Right.
But it was great. I mean, it was a good mixed crowd, and there was these young guys, like they look like death metal dudes sitting a few. Did you see those,
I know
Ashley?
what you're talking about.
I think they were in your row, or not too far away from you either. They're banging their heads the whole time. I doubt they're even 20 years old, these guys. And one of the people we were with, how did you say it was, 17?
One of my oldest friends, Mac, brought his 17-year-old son, his youngest son.
And he was into it?
Oh, he said it was the best thing he'd ever seen. And he's really kind of interesting being a 17-year-old kid. He's been listening to his dad's favorite bands, which, boy, I don't think that happened much when we were kids, Josh.
No, not at all.
But anyway, this friend of mine's son, Tommy is his name. He's been listening to his dad's favorite bands, and so recently my buddy Mac brought Tommy to see Tesla, and he said that was his favorite show. Well, now Mr. Big has replaced Tesla as his favorite show. I looked over at the young kid a couple times, and he was just straight up in awe of what he was watching, so he loved it.
My wife, God bless her, I had mentioned the ticket to her anniversary present, and I would never go to one of her shows. Unless she really wanted me to go to one of the artists she likes, I would pass. I'm not really into it. And so she's not really into this style of music, but she does like Mr. Big. And so she was, because I've blasted her with Mr. Big over the years, she was familiar with most of the songs.
She dug it.
That's a nice text. Good morning. I was at the Mr. Big show. I'm 33. I go to a lot of concerts. I went because of all the great things you've said about Mr. Big over the years, and they were the most talented band I've ever seen. I see what you guys see now. They rule.
Did you see the dad with his little girl? She maybe like 6 or 7.
No.
They were they were able to kind of stand in the aisle so that he could bring her to the front of the stage.
I missed it.
And the drummer gave her one of his sticks at the end.
That's cool.
Oh, that's really cool.
That
and
happens.
then I saw her walking back to her car after that, and she was just death gripping that thing. Nobody was going to take that from her.
Their singer, Eric Martin, he had put his pick in his mouth and gave it to somebody, and I thought that was kind of gross.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought, sir, we're just getting over a pandemic. What are you thinking?
This is great. Big Rig Fenders Jesus said he looked them up. Hearing us talk about the band, he looked them up and he said, "Oh my damn, the skill!"
Yeah,
wildly skilled.
they're all instructors of their instruments at prestigious schools. I mean, they're all great.
That was so cool that they switched up for the last song who was playing what instrument. I was
Right.
like, that's talent.
I did turn to my wife and say, Paul Gilbert, the guitar player, he goes and plays the drums. I'm like, of course he's a great drummer.
Yeah.
Of course.
Save some talent for the rest of us,
Yeah,
man.
I know. It's almost frustrating.
So that was everything that we hoped it would be. I know we hyped the living hell out of it, being massive dorky fans of that act.
And maybe annoyingly so. I apologize.
I don't
I'm
even
sick
care.
And tired of
I don't even care if we annoyed anybody.
hearing about it. I bought a T-shirt at concert prices, knowing very well I could have went online and paid less than half.
$40 T-shirt.
$40. I was laughing like, okay, I
heard
guess.
about the $40 T-shirt.
Yeah, and it's not like the world's fanciest T-shirt by any means.
Just a gray shirt with red lettering that says Mr. Period Big.
Yeah, and then on the back it has the wrong city that they performed in here. It says Minneapolis instead of St. Paul.
I love when they do that.
Lieber.
And may I say, the Fitzgerald, that place is great.
Isn't it?
That's the
I love
first
it.
time I'd seen
a
a
cool
show there.
little joint.
I like that.
It's a cool little
I
joint.
like that place a lot.
So we were all quite pleased. Quite pleased. And hell, I've become an old school sex-crazed groupie over here. The Mr. Big Show was just half of my personal live concert calendar for the week. Tomorrow night, I'm headed out to see one of Canada's greatest bands, Air Supply.
Oh, I thought when you said I thought you were going to say one of Canada's greatest artists, you were going to go see Sebastian Bach at the Fitzgerald. I think that's tomorrow night.
Is that? I mean,
I'm tempted.
I know he's coming to that theater. Oh, you're not going to go see Sebastian Bach.
Well, I can't do 2 major things in 1 week, but I'm very tempted to go see him. I know you loved that band back in the day, Skid Row, of course. Oh, that first album especially.
Yeah, Air Supply's expecting to see me tomorrow night, so.
Where's that again?
One of those casinos. I don't remember which one. Somebody can look it up if you like. But.
All right, in Minnesota?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was going to start in Atlantic City and just move west. That's good that you clarified that. Are you going to Shakopee?
I believe so.
Okay, that's Mystic Lake Casino.
All right, yeah. Probably my 3rd or 4th time seeing Air Supply. They're a lot of fun. Dad Fight's coming up later around 8 a.m. Friday. Doesn't feel like it, but this is our final. What else is going on? Anything happened yesterday that we need to know about?
To answer one more question about the show. I don't have a name for this text, but yes, Nick and I did embrace during To Be With You when they played their famous ballad To Be With You. We did, and we danced a little bit.
We touched.
Yep.
We touched and we danced just for a brief part of the song, just to show each other how much we care. Kind of like I guess we did the night of that Mitch Hedberg show, but I don't remember an effing thing.
You don't have to remember. I remember. We had sex, I promise.
Speaking of live concerts, says here now, 93X presents Beartooth, March 6th at Myth Live. And we're giving you a heads up here to listen this weekend for your shot to win tickets. If you do win, you could be invited to meet the band for an acoustic performance before the show. Josh has a great track record when it comes to hanging around bands doing acoustic shows.
Oh, man. Yeah, we haven't told this story in a while, but it was it was a 4th of July booze cruise. Was the band called Red?
Yes, they were called Red.
And they were so nice. Those guys were really nice. They had a single
Poor
out
bastards.
at the time. I know. And, they're performing on the booze cruise. They were such a nice group of fellas.
They were very nice.
They're going to play an acoustic show, and so we get up to introduce them, and I'm walking past one of the acoustic guitars, and I tripped over it.
No.
And knocked it over.
Kicked it across the boat.
Oh, man. I was so embarrassed, and I felt terrible, and I'm thinking, oh, no, this is going to be incredibly expensive. I'm going to have to spend the money on it. And I talked to the guy, the guitar player. He could not have been nicer about it. Didn't seem annoyed at all, and he's like, I'll tell you the truth. This isn't my guitar. I don't care.
Smash it after the set, bro.
There was no damage or anything.
It was one of those...
Bang!
it made just the most perfect twang. As it was dead silence. One of us was on the mic.
You were.
Okay, I was on the mic. The thing was, you're right, this band Red, who I couldn't tell you what their single... It was one of these deals... I think we were even more appreciative of the great attitude that these guys had, because my guess is they didn't want to do this. You know how it is with young bands? They need to get their name out, and sometimes they have to do things that they're not wildly excited about. And I'm guessing their manager said, hey, look, we could use all the exposure possible. I'm putting you guys on a drunken friggin' boat party in the middle of the St. Croix on Independence Day. You know the band at first said, oh, come on, I want that day off, right?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh, I don't want to hang out with a bunch of drunks and radio dorks, on a hotter-than-hell day in Minnesota. You know they didn't want to be there. But they knew that, hey, you got to pay your dues as a young band, and you got to be nice. And that, like I said, that made us, I think, appreciate their attitude even better. They couldn't have been nicer, and they couldn't have been more understanding when Josh kicked the living hell out of one of their guitars.
I thought for sure he was going to chew me out, and I would have deserved it.
It was one of those deals where, and this is a lot more common maybe than people think. Bands don't really travel with all their gear in a U-Haul anymore. They just go town to town and rent their instruments, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, and that's what it was.
Or get them in trade from a...
Yep.
So that's why the guy didn't care. That wasn't his guitar, but at first we all thought,
Uh-oh.
This guy's going to kick Josh's ass. I was up there making, whatever announcements we needed to make. Thank you to this sponsor and that sponsor. It's totally quiet on the friggin' boat. And here comes Cubby dumping a Bruce Lee kick on this guy's acoustic.
It seems like something you'd do, Ashley. But no, that was me that day.
Oh, great.
Beartooth. I like that band thanks to you, Wapple.
I'm so pumped. I'm going to be there, and I'll also be running the meet and greet and acoustic set,
Oh,
too.
please punt a guitar across the stage
will.
in honor of Josh.
Yeah, the legacy.
So you're going to be at this show, and you're going to be part of the acoustic deal. You'll be doing intros and whatnot.
I think just, corralling people and then getting them in the building. That's about it.
You going to try to take some drugs?
No, probably not. We'll be working the next day.
Okay. Oh, it's not a weekend?
No, it's a Wednesday concert.
So you got to limit your drug intake?
Yeah. But I'm super excited.
Well, maybe
the first time I saw this band was years ago at Varsity Theater.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll ask you to sit down and sing a song with them.
Oh, boy.
What song would you want to sing?
When the children cry.
No, that's White Lion.
Well, I know, but they could do their cover of White Lion. Let them know we...
I'm really liking Better Me or Riptide, but I don't think I can scream. So I think
you
Riptide's out.
You should do an old do a cover, an old acoustic cover that everybody knows.
Oh.
Trying to see what Beartooth song I've been listening to.
Dust in the wind. All we are is dust in the wind. I can see you sitting down and singing that one.
Sitting on the dock of a bay is my go-to
Watching
karaoke song.
the ships roll in. Right.
And I'll watch them roll away again.
Ask Beartooth to do an acoustic cover of Sitting on the effing Dock of the Bay and ask him if you can sing it for the crowd.
That'd be good.
That'd be great, is what it would be.
Is it Might Love Myself, Josh?
Mike Love Myself.
You know what? I just looked it up. I was thinking of the wrong band. But I have been listening to the album The Surface.
Yeah, that's a great album.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
So be listening for your shot at Beartooth tickets and to see Wapple sing a 70s acoustic cover with them.
Ask me about CrossFit, Jesus said, let's be honest. Wapple will be singing Rainbow Connection.
That would be...
That'd be good.
You sang a beautiful rendition of that song once.
I mean, you are, for a lot of intents and purposes around here, you are Kermit the effing Frog, and Rainbow Connection would be your jam. That would be very fitting.
It would. We've had people texting in wanting you and Patrick Mahomes to have a Kermit off.
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah, you guys both sound like Kermit the Frog.
What was the other one that I sang? Man or Muppet?
From the Muppet
Classic.
movie.
Sure.
Yep.
Sure. Also, concert related, maybe before we duck out of here this morning, we can jump on some more Steel Panther concert tickets. Those sorry sumbitches are going to Mankato. You know that argument I was just playing out where Red didn't want to play our Booze Cruise? I bet you Steel Panther does not want to go to Mankato. They're in a meeting saying, please don't make us go to Mankato. And the manager's saying, we got to go to Mankato. They don't want to go, but they're going to show up anyway because they're professionals.
They are professionals. They've been doing it a long time.
The guys in Steel Panther are saying, for Christ's sake, the hockey players are 30. They're 30 years old. And the manager says, I know, but we're going anyway. Well, there you go. What else is going on around here? I never gave anyone a chance to answer. I had a question earlier, which was, did anything happen yesterday that we need to know about?
Nothing notable.
Okay,
No?
good. No, it's fine.
Just a regular day.
I'm just curious.
Oh, I guess I met
Oh, here we go.
2 sovereign citizens. I've never met any of those in real life before. That was interesting.
Did they just bring it up, or how did you know that?
It came up after I was informed that taxes are optional.
They are.
Yeah.
Well, as someone who was audited, I can tell you they are not.
Yep.
So this is interesting. You're hanging out summers. Do you want to tell us where you were hanging out?
Oh, I was at the bar for Pool League.
What is it like to have a life outside of work?
I'd like to know that too.
Could you fill us in
on a
sometime?
work night?
I don't know. I sacrificed sleep. It's not until later in the day, so it's just sacrificing a lot of sleep.
I remember when I had a life outside of work. So you're hanging out at a pool hall and you met two folks who consider themselves sovereign citizens.
Yeah.
Was this a couple?
Yeah. Yep. They're a couple. It was interesting. I didn't want to go too far into it with them.
I would have asked every question I could think of.
I didn't.
I wanted to know how far they can go with that.
Well, we've gotten the reason you bring it up, I think, is because we've gotten a kick out of some past news stories where someone gets pulled over going 119 in a 55, or someone gets in trouble, and they say to the police, "I don't abide by the laws of your world."
Yeah.
Or of this country, or whatever it might be. So they
get pulled over at a .4 after crashing into a school bus. And like, oh shoot, I don't believe in your laws. Otherwise, I'd go right with you. You seem like a nice police officer.
So how's that going for them so far? I mean, this taxes are optional. Did they give you any information? Or they're just riding high? Everything's fine?
Yeah, I mean, they seem good. They seem like they're doing all right. My boyfriend tried to like poke fun at it, and I was like, just leave it be. I don't want to get into it. Just please leave it alone.
Now, if they're the type of people who get a refund every year, the IRS isn't going to be up their butt for that at all.
Not at all. I was like, that was the first thing I said to my fellow pool partners. I was like, oh, that's good to know. I didn't know that you just don't get audited. And then, tax fraud, jail time. That's good to know.
Well, if you owe money, they look at it a little different versus it's just in the government's bank account earning some interest.
Well, there you go. You got to have that conversation, huh?
Yeah. I never thought there'd come a time where I met some of those kind of people.
Well, what'd you think? I mean, would you know, these people are different?
Are you considering the lifestyle?
Yeah. It was pretty obvious that they're a little different, but I mean, they were really nice. They're always I've talked to them before. I didn't know this about them, but they've always been really nice to me. But I think I'm
I'm sure they're nice. But I mean, I don't think it makes you a jerk. It's just a different way to think about things.
Yeah, I just wanted to.
Do they just run around and go ack 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 ack? Is that what they sound like? Ack 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 ack.
Yes, exactly.
All right, we got to go. It's a wonderful Friday morning. We appreciate you sticking around with us, and we got. I think our next step will be the stupid news when we come back on the Half-Assed Morning Show. Word.
Half-Assed Morning Show.
They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act, they're a nuisance.
93X.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
Standard Heating is having their 94-year celebration. They have special offers just for you this February. Whether you need a new furnace or a tune-up, they have something special for everyone. Visit standardheating.com to save today.
The Ed Milet Show showcases the greatest peak performers sharing their journey, knowledge, and thought leadership.
This is one of the all-time best pieces of advice ever given on the show.
Author and coach Tony Robbins.
You don't experience life. You experience the life you focus on.
Singer Jason Derulo.
My happiest moments have always been in the grind.
Singer Jewel.
I think healing is a gritty job. It's you looking in the mirror and going, what do I got? No one's coming for me. I'm coming for me.
The Ed Milet Show is available on YouTube or wherever you listen. Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
I want to try not to get you aggravated here. I have a feeling the first two stories in our stupid news report might get me aggravated. I'll try to remember that it's Friday. And, of course, I'll try to remember the words of the great Swami Baha. I'm one with the universe and nothing else matters.
That does usually calm you down.
Relaxes me.
That belly rubs.
I'm one with the universe, nothing else matters. The words of the great Swami Baha.
Where's Wapple? Oh, something happened over there?
Yeah, we had to unplug and replug something in.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. That just freaked me out that our board guy's not there. I heard no music in the background. So.
It's 2024. And we still have equipment around here where it helps to unplug it and then plug it back in.
Yeah, it's like a Nintendo 64. You blow in the cartridge a little bit.
Was that an important piece of equipment that you just messed with?
What do you mean?
Like how important? I'm just wondering how much damage that could have been had you not had the presence of mind to do what you just did.
Oh, we wouldn't be able to run spots. We wouldn't be able to play anything.
No, we'd be fine then.
Yeah, we'd be totally good.
We'll just improv the commercials.
Well, Dana, you're on every single one of them. You might as well.
Do you guys not understand what we're trying to do around here? Really, Wapple, you just said that piece of equipment, we wouldn't be able to do anything.
Yes.
Go unplug it again.
What were you thinking? We can start the board on fire.
Do you
again.
not know?
Yeah, Wapple, that was stupid.
I thought I knew you
Sorry,
folks.
guys.
I thought we were all in this together. There's one friggin' piece of equipment that if we unplug it, there's nothing we can do here.
Yeah.
Go unplug the effing thing.
There'll be no music, no commercials, nothing.
Don't care.
Finally, some peace and quiet.
All right, a few days ago, a high-speed police car chase in Georgia ended when the garbage human being meth head gal that was getting chased, the car chase ended when she drove her vehicle into a damn cemetery. Ooh. Now, the good news is the cops pinched this effing moron. But the bad news is she bashed the living hell out of, and in some cases completely destroyed the grave sites of quite a few dead people.
Oh, how many dead? I don't even know. I don't even want to know.
The feces pile human being is named Cheyenne Collier. She's 23 years old. She sucks, and we all hate her. It's just... she's driving around town in a shady-looking car. Her tags weren't right, so the cops pulled her over. The car also looked a lot like one that was involved in a recent shoplifting incident. This worthless gal behind the wheel, she didn't have a valid license. She had warrants out for meth rocks and this and that. Of course, to nobody's surprise, she took off when the cops tried to get her sad ass out of the car. She hits the gas, and there she goes, racing all over town. Cubby, the cops chased her on the neighborhood roads and on the open highway, and eventually she ends up crashing into Grandma and Grandpa's damn headstones over at the local cemetery.
Now, I don't want it to end in such dramatic fashion in a cemetery or anything, but I am going on a ride-along for the first time in a very long time, coming up here in a couple of weeks, and I'm really hoping to get in a police chase.
That'd be awesome.
Whether I steal a squad and they chase me, or I'm just with the officer and we chase, or he chases somebody else.
What has made you want to sign up for one of these after all these years?
Oh, as you know, I used to go on a lot of them.
Yeah. And nothing really ever happened.
There's a couple things that happened, but I'm sworn to secrecy.
Oh, sure.
Didn't you never want to give out a ticket?
That's correct. I did get yelled at by a buddy of mine who was frustrated that I never wanted to give anybody a ticket. I would offer a reason why maybe they did what they did. Like an alternative way to think about it.
The cop you were riding along with years ago would check with you first to see if he should ticket an individual?
He did that a couple times. And there was one particular evening where he blew up at me because he's like, all right, are we doing anything out here tonight or what? This is a very good friend of mine, so I handled the abuse well. And I gave him an excuse why he might blow up at me.
Oh, I can't wait to hear all about this this ride-along. So can you give us any other information? Is it going to be in the middle of the night, in a bad neighborhood? Where are you going?
No, it's, I think I'll leave work on a Friday, and then we'll go.
Oh, a daytime deal.
Yeah. So, I mean, if anybody's interested in maybe a little police chase or something like that, I'll do my best to talk the cop out of any real repercussions, but it might be kind of fun to get into something like that.
Well, I hope you, I hope something exciting does happen, but of course that you survive. So here's this gal. Again, she's a derelict. She serves no purpose. She's running from the cops. Well, I should say driving away from the cops, turns into a high-speed chase. She crashes into the neighborhood stinking cemetery, disrespecting all of the dead people. Once she crashed, she ran, but didn't get far. Cops got her. Let me tell you, keep on smoking those meth rocks, everybody. So far, it really seems to be going well. Wouldn't you say? I mean, I don't know. You guys tell me. We're probably in what will be considered the early days of meth. And so far, it's really proved beneficial to those who use it. And it's not causing any problems for society in general either.
No, not at all.
So good for you, meth sellers and meth users. You're doing effing great.
That's why I always find it so funny when you read those stories about somebody basically copying the show Breaking Bad. Like a teacher turns into making meth. Did you not watch the entire show? It didn't turn out well for anybody.
No, it didn't, did it?
No. It was called Breaking Bad, not called Breaking Good.
I never really understood that. I'm too dumb to understand the title there. Breaking Bad.
Yeah, I guess I haven't really thought about it.
It sounded like you were learned on the subject.
Well,
and
I just knew bad is in the title. But yeah, I guess I'm too dumb to even consider what the title meant.
I mean, for a while, bad meant cool. Like, oh man, new motorcycle? That's bad.
That's a good point.
Badass. Someone might even add on to that.
I mean, you guys tell me, was that a true statement that I made? Are we in the early days of meth?
Seems like it's been around for a while.
Or has it been around for hundreds of years and we just didn't know about it?
I only have one friend who was ever into it.
Jesus.
And it was prior to me knowing him. I didn't know. He had told me, and, there wasn't a lot of good things he had to say about where his life was at that time.
I just can't imagine.
I got an answer about Breaking Bad. The show's title is a Southern term meaning, among other things, raising hell.
Oh,
and was chosen by Vince Gilligan, the creator, to describe Walter White's transformation from teacher to drug kingpin.
Thank you.
Never saw it!
I watched, I think, when was the bathtub scene?
Like episode 3.
Oh, is that it? Okay, I didn't make it very long. After that, I thought, whoa, this might be heavy for me.
Yeah, I'm with you, Josh. That's kind of when I stopped watching it, too.
That dude's body was
too much.
nothing but goo.
That was pretty gross. Pretty gross.
Is the Red Rash Inn, the Red Roof Inn, is it always the shadiest place in any neighborhood?
Yeah.
Anyone here ever spent the night at the Red Rash, the Red Roof Inn?
No. Nope.
I did in Milwaukee once.
I couldn't even tell you where one is. I lived next to a really shady motel that would get shut down quite often. My first apartment shared a parking lot with it. There were some characters there, that's for sure.
I got a red roof in my neighborhood, and it's been there a long time. We used to go there and rent a room and party when we were in high school. You got to hear this story right here. Police were called to the parking lot of a Red Roof Inn in Massachusetts earlier this week to investigate a, quote, suspicious vehicle. It's unclear what seemed strange about the vehicle, but whoever it was that called the cops should be proud of themselves, because by God, the cops approached the car and talked to the driver. And when they were jaw-jacking, the cops saw some potential drug paraphernalia, is how they say it. So they searched the car, and they found crack rocks, and they found an M190 U.S. Army rocket launcher.
Whoa.
Come on!
I want a rocket launcher.
I do too.
Cool. How
really
the
bad.
holy balls does an average jag-off end up driving around town with a friggin' rocket launcher in the car?
Yeah, where can you just purchase one of those?
Would you guys trust me with one of those, an M190?
Yes.
Yeah.
You would?
You're probably one of the few people I would trust with that.
Now, keep in mind, I'm the same guy that tripped over a famous band's acoustic guitar.
Oh, and didn't you fall on a family's table?
Yes, I did fall on a family's table at a comedy club/restaurant in front of everybody.
And you also fell down at an orgy and your penis knocked into another guy's penis.
Now, listen.
That was hilarious. You're such an idiot.
Now, hold on a second. I just want to clear one thing. I'm not a guy. Usually I'll just take the hit. Maybe I wasn't a part of it, but I wouldn't say anything.
You fell down at an orgy and your penis collided with another guy's penis.
I feel the need for a clarification, and I'm not arguing with you.
The story is so great.
This is no snark here whatsoever. And the only reason I'm bringing it up is because you've told this story before, but you were the main character in that story. It was actually your penis and another gentleman's penis that combined at this orgy. Do you remember that now?
Right. You know what? You're right.
Think back, like you felt it.
Yeah, that was
your body felt another man's naked body.
That was me.
Yeah,
Okay,
that was me, and I apologize. I don't know how I got that screwed up, but that was me.
Remember that one time, though, you had your favorite bag of soup, and you were walking to the car, and you tripped on a curb. And
You're an idiot, Josh. That happened to you. You fell down.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sorry to be such a jerk this morning. But
a bag of soup. Josh is carrying a bag of soup.
The only reason I bring it up is because the person who this happened to has said many times that this happened to them, and that was Dana. Dana is the idiot that tripped carrying a bag of soup and broke his face wide open.
Wapple, he's right on this one, too.
Really?
Yep.
And then after I was in the hospital getting stitched up, I decided to take gruesomely disgusting pictures of my bloody face and send them to my coworkers like 10:30 at night.
My favorite part of that story, Dana, is when you told us you were sober when that happened. Nobody believes that part.
All right, you're right, I'm sorry.
I didn't mean to be so difficult there.
I tried to embarrass you, and I forgot. You're right. That was me. All right. What else? Okay, so this friggin' guy gets caught in the parking lot. He's got some crack rocks, and he's got a rocket launcher. Yeah, so, see, that's the good news. The guy has a rocket launcher, and he smokes crack. That's the combo right there that helps all of us here in America get a sound night's sleep, right? He's got a rocket launcher, and he smokes crack rocks. Josh, I would trust you with a rocket launcher. I would, because you're a response. This guy also smokes crack. That's not a good combination in my book. I just don't even know how that happens. The driver of the car is some wild card maniac, obviously. He goes by the name of Harvey Johnson. Harvey was arrested and charged with possession of those stupid crack rocks.
His initials are HJ. That's what's going on.
Yep.
He had to turn the rocket launcher over to the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Buy Damn Firearms. God, please save us.
Now, he was cursed from the beginning.
Foundry Rat Jesus said, anybody that can buy a gun can buy a rocket launcher. It's the projectiles, which are difficult to get. And then he followed that up by saying, I know a guy.
Interesting. All right.
I didn't know that.
Boy, this is a weird morning, and I'm being targeted, unfairly. Letter Shredder Jesus said, didn't you once stand on some kid's life support, almost killing him? Now, again, that was
ridiculous when you did that. I was there. It was funny.
You were there because you were in the chicken suit, and because you were in the chicken suit, you couldn't see you were standing on the only cable keeping this kid alive.
Son of a bitch, you're right again. It was me. I was the guy who stood on that kid's air hose. I'm 0 for 2.
And then you also stole the attention away from these sick kids by the nurses who had to go and help you as you almost sweat to death.
I was close to death. I was close to death walking around. Don't ever get real drunk and then wake up the next day and not eat anything and then put on a chicken suit and walk around a hospital. It will damn near smooth kill you.
I really want to get to this text exchange that you've been having, Nick, about Air Supply, because I'm following along here, and it's very funny.
I was talking about Air Supply. I'm going to see their show tomorrow night at Mystic Lake. I'm a big fan. This will be like my 3rd or 4th time to see the boys in concert. I'm a big fan. I mentioned, I think, on air, Josh, that they are one of the greatest things to come out of Canada.
You did.
And what happened with this text exchange?
There's a gentleman, or I guess I don't know for sure, someone in the listening audience who's suggesting that they're actually Australian,
for Christ's
not
sake.
Canadian.
Yeah. Yeah, that's silly.
And what's awesome is, so they don't know the bit, which is good, because you guys are going back and forth arguing whether or not they're Australian or Canadian. And this person is putting forth some very strong points with links. They're going to great depths to suggest... No, say they really are Australian.
That's awesome.
Yeah, okay, I see it now. It's in front of me.
Yeah, did you click one of the links they sent?
No, I did not. They sent a link. I don't see... Oh, there it is. Okay, yeah, they sent me...
the bio for Air Supply.
Bio. And they said I saw them a few years ago at Mystic Lake, and it was magical, and I wrote back, Air Supply is wonderful and from Canada. But, okay. It's a bit, dude, or lady. It's a bit. Everything Australian is Canadian and vice versa.
I can just imagine them, sitting in their car texting you, just getting furious.
Yeah. Sorry about that. It's a bit.
That stuff is kind of fun.
So, anyway, I told you those first 2 stories would get me aggravated. I think I've hit a breaking point with people. We're just no good anymore. But you know what? You know what might help me see the good in people again, Josh?
What's that?
You know who might show me the way and show me the light? maybe I should talk to some Bible humpers. The God-fearing people in the world. I bet they could absolutely show me that not all of society... a priest in Spain just got arrested for illegally trafficking Viagra.
Oh, wonderful,
man.
wonderful.
The boner of Christ.
Just when I thought I'd turn to the religious people, a priest in Spain gets arrested for illegally trafficking Viagra, so forget it.
I don't know if I was going to buy some black market Viagra. I don't know if I could do it from a priest. You know, doesn't seem right.
Doesn't seem very holy.
No. I'm trying to think of a profession where I would take black market Viagra from.
Porn star?
No.
No. The priest is very regretful over this. It says that right here. He feels much regret. He and one of his bros were arrested for illegally trafficking Viagra in a town called Don Benito, which in English means fat boner. Don Benito translates to fat boner. The priest and his pal were illegally selling Viagras, and it says here, other powerful aphrodisiacs. And now the two of them got to go to court. Boner court.
That's the thing. I mean, hey, I hear you can get a boner now. Who do you have to thank for that erection? Oh, my priest. Thanks for the boner.
God.
The priest is extremely popular in town, they say, well-liked by the community. They say he's firm but fair. I wonder what were the other powerful aphrodisiacs this guy was slinging? Do you guys know of any other powerful aphrodisiacs?
I don't know. I mean, outside of you hear oysters, right? That's all I can think of.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's not a black market. Well, maybe there is a black market oyster ring.
It probably isn't. It wasn't that long ago, Josh, that you brought up Spanish fly. And I hadn't heard anyone talk about that in decades, and I remember I lost it. I was having so much fun because I hadn't heard anyone talk about Spanish fly since I think I was a 7th grader. And you brought it up, and I thought, wow.
Yeah, I was afraid to bring that one up this time because I wasn't sure exactly. So that's just an aphrodisiac?
All I can tell you is when we were young kids in junior high, there was always some kind of story about something called Spanish fly that made you horny.
Yeah.
And then in 80s movies, it's referenced now and again. That's all I remember about it, but you just brought me back to junior high by saying it out loud, and I got a big kick out of it. What was this stuff when they used to have the coin-operated vending machines in the men's rooms? Wasn't there something called goat weed?
Yeah, horny goat weed.
Yeah.
Horny goat weed, whatever. We're close if we're not spot on there.
A couple texters have said that too. Horny goat
weed.
See if we can still get some.
Yeah, well, yeah, you just run into a gas station bathroom with a couple of quarters.
I'm trying to think. When I go into a gas station bathroom these days, I've got one thing to focus on and one thing only. So I don't pay attention to my surroundings. Are these vending machines still on the walls on your gas station and bar bathrooms?
I guess I haven't noticed in a while.
Yeah, it's not something I've looked for. When I was 22 or 23, I might look up there and maybe buy myself a rubber.
They barely even have...
Which, of course, I never used, but I would buy one now and again.
They barely have those, women's bathrooms have always had, tampon machines, and it's been so long since I've been into a bathroom that even has those.
They stopped selling tampons, too, huh?
Yeah, well, maybe they weren't making that much money, because it was always the cheapest, worst tampons ever.
No, you can just stroll into a Walgreens and get some horny goat weed.
Oh, yeah? Mm-hmm. Does it say, do they mention what it's for? Is there an alternative for that they try and sneak in there?
Male performance formula.
Male performance formula.
Mediocre machinist.
Pour it on your dong. Go ahead, John.
Mediocre machinist Jesus said he tried it just for the heck of it once, horny goat weed, and he said either it's BS or it just didn't do anything for him. One of the two.
Yeah, you weren't taking enough.
Sure.
A few people are saying, what about Funky Cold Medina? Yeah, sure.
What?
Yeah, Funky Cold Medina. God, I hear that song just about every day.
Tone Loc? Where do you hear it?
On, how do you call it, Cool 108.
Oh, I guess I haven't heard it there.
Or maybe that's the Wild Thing. It's one of the two. when I go home and I'm just kind of horsing around the house, I like I mentioned a couple weeks ago, I still just listen to the radio. I'm cool with the radio and commercials and everything. I know everyone else on planet Earth is finger banging their phones and all that commercial-free stuff. I like to live it up. I like to listen to the commercials and the songs that I don't like. And I try a little bit of, all the local radio stations. And on Cool 108, they'll still play me some Tone Loc.
Been a while. I liked Tone Loc back in the day.
I think it's...
Wild Thing. That was cool.
One of my ex-girlfriends met him at a bar one night. One of my ex-girlfriends, she was one of these types that would like to go to the clubs and dance. She'd go to all the hip Minneapolis clubs and dance. And one night she walked in and there's Tone by damn Loc sitting in the corner. Oh, and Cubby, he was surrounded by fly honeys.
Oh, I'll bet.
Everywhere you looked, there were fly honeys.
I mean, even if he wasn't famous, he's got that speaking voice.
Yeah.
And he's just kind of exudes cool in a way.
And I'm glad you brought up his speaking voice, because the story my ex-girlfriend told is she walked up on Tone Loc to say hi to him and shake his hand and take a picture. And when she said, "Hey, Tone Loc," he said, "Damn, you look like my future ex-wife."
That's cool.
I didn't think she was that good looking, but Tone Loc apparently did.
Well, that's why he said ex-wife, right? He knew to be short.
Future ex-wife. Okay, this here sounds like money well spent. By God, it does. Dudes in New York City are paying plastic surgeons $5,000 for what they call here almond-shaped nipples.
Ooh. That's something I would never think would become a thing.
No.
Has anyone ever looked at their nipples? And I mean, I know, Nick, yours have been accused of being aggressive, which is ridiculous. They are the perfect stately nipple. They're perfect. I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah, my nipples became a thing a couple years ago. I never bothered even looking at them myself.
But I've never...
But I took my shirt off at the state fair and I just offended everyone that was with me. They were disgusted, and they were particularly attacking the appearance and the supposed or alleged aggressiveness of my nipples. And I thought, well, way to make a guy feel like garbage, and I had to put my tank top back on.
Have you ever looked at a guy, Ashley, with the shirt off and thought, damn, them some fine nipples?
No. I've noticed if they are aggressively large.
Oh!
But no, actually...
Do you mean in circumference or depth?
Circumference. The other day, maybe like a week or two ago, my boyfriend was shirtless and I took the time to look at his nipples, and I was like, you got some nice nipples.
See, but here's the thing is, this story even is a little misleading. I don't think they're directly talking about nipples. They're talking about the areola. Right, Josh?
Yeah, I mean,
dudes do. Okay.
I guess it's all one to me.
Yeah. I was with Josh.
Yeah.
I think of them as separate things.
Oh. See, for me,
that's how I was raised. I was raised to think of the nipple and the areola as two Chef Boyardee areola. I was taught to think of them as two separate entities. Titties.
I've got, 3 of mine are quite normal. The 4th is a little off. Maybe I'd get that one fixed.
Just to get that one adjusted a little bit.
Here's what's happening in New York City. The dudes want their areolas or nipples or whatever to look more like the ones hanging off of that soccer player fella by the name of David Beckham. Men are telling these plastic surgeons, cut off my stupid-looking areolas and nipples and shape me up with a new pair that look like David Beckham's, and I'll give you $5,000 in trade. They say that David Beckham has almond-shaped nipple areolas.
I couldn't really see it in the pictures that I saw.
Well, look closer, I guess.
It's on 93x.com if you want to check them out.
I wonder how he feels about this attention he's receiving.
I wouldn't like that.
He can't hear anything. That Spice Girl's sitting on his head right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What's her name again?
Posh.
What is it?
Posh Spice, Victoria Beckham.
Oh, Posh Spice. Yeah. So a doctor there in New York says he's now performing nipple operations once every 2 weeks, where a couple years ago he was only doing a few a year. It costs a lot, but they say it's quick. You can go back to work the same day after they shape you new almond-like nipples.
Hey, guys, want to check out what I did over lunch?
$5,000.
They tear off the old ones, and they glue on some fresh nipples.
No, I don't think I'd ever want to mess with that area. You're risking losing some type of feeling, I imagine.
That's the word I hear about, at least that's the word I used to hear about bolt-ons, breast implants, is that you risk losing sensation there. I don't know if that, I wonder if that has progressed over time.
I don't even know if mine have sensation. If they do, it doesn't do much for me.
Now, come on over. Let's give it a shot.
You want to tweak them?
Yeah.
I know a couple of my girlfriends, they've had their nipples pierced, and it has taken some of their sensation away.
Well, that's not good.
But I've also heard, for some people, it makes it even better. So
Yes.
I'm like, what?
Yes.
Crazy.
It's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other kind of a thing, Smashley.
Yeah.
I mean, do what you got to do. I just can't imagine being that damn concerned over the appearance of my effing areolas.
Yeah,
Almond-shaped is what they said again,
Yeah.
right? Mine are real like pancakes. I got the pancake
Pepperonis.
nipple. They're double a pepperoni.
Dana's
They're
are
big bastards.
Are cashew shaped. It's weird.
All right, and before we get out of here, also because grown folks these days just can't be content with their appearance anymore. Grown folks are pumping out $1,500 for dimpleplasty, where a doctor stabs you in the face to create dimples for you.
I know an adult who has dimples, and she hates it. I think they're adorable.
I love dimples. Yeah, I think they're cute too.
She does not want them.
Especially back dimples.
Oh, God, back dimples.
Oh, there's a back dimple Jesus. Did you know that?
Yeah. I don't notice dimples in people's faces. Some do, I don't. But I notice those. God, that brings up a funny story. Years ago, I was drinking a lot with this older fella, and he was talking about features on a woman that he likes. And he says, so I like a woman with this kind of bottom and this kind of top and this kind of face. And he goes, and I like her when she's got, he was very drunk. I like her when she's got those dots in her back. And we were all confused, and we said, like a freckle? No, the lower back with those 2 dots. And I mean, this took 15 minutes. What do you mean dots? Moles, birthmarks, freckles? And finally someone said, are you talking about back dimples? And he says, yes.
I don't think I ever would have come up with back dimples. Impressive that somebody did.
Oh, it took a while, Cubby. It was hilarious because he could not come up with, because of his drunkenness, he could not come up with any other descriptive word other than dots. So there you go. People are trying to create or have a plastic surgeon create dimples for them in the face. They call this procedure minimally invasive. You can get a dimple stabbed into one or both of your cheeks. It's becoming one of the hottest cosmetic procedures these days. There's a months-long wait for the surgery. But there is a warning, like all of this. Plastic surgery comes with some form of warning. They say the dimple fixation that you have, which would cause you to get in line for such a procedure, they say it might not be something you're interested in a couple years. You know, you might not want it so badly. They compare it to breast regret, where gals will reverse their augmentations. They say a dimpleplasty is very difficult to reverse. It's not like hauling a bag of sand or whatever they use for implants. It's not like just hauling one of those out of there. They say a dimpleplasty's difficult to reverse.
Oh, you can't just plug in some skin, just fill them in a little?
No, I think they got to just kick the living hell out of you there in the office. Yeah.
Just a spritz of great stuff.
Yeah.
Back Dimple Jesus has checked in, and thank you for listening this morning. She says, I'm getting older. I might have to change my Jesus name to Butt Dimple Jesus.
I bet they're adorable wherever they are on you.
I agree. You're always going to be back dimple. She's his dogs.
Wherever they are.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Don't take this personal, but I hate that your desk is next to mine. After 40 hours of hearing you bitch, let me make one thing clear. The last thing I wanna do is go get a beer. So F you till Monday, don't call and ruin my weekend. F you till Monday, we're co-workers, not friends. And F you till Monday, or politely said go screw. F you till Monday, how did all the layoffs skip you? I see you more than my wife and kids, so when 5 o'clock hits, know this. F you till Monday, F you till Monday, F you till Monday.
That's great. Yeah, absolutely. This will be it for us. And then, as Josh likes to say, every second that goes by, we're closer and closer to Monday.
Almost there, guys.
We're getting there.
Almost there.
Closer now than even when I first brought it up. All right, we'll get this jock sniffing out of the way. We've got plenty more time to go this way and that when Brad Ryder and stupid Randy Shaver stop by. That'll be in about a half hour. How about that nice win for the men's Golden Gopher Basketball Club last night? You pricks didn't watch any of it, did you?
I thought you'd be excited by that.
What the hell is the matter with you? They beat Ohio State. They put 88 points on the board.
Dang.
Beat Ohio State by 9. Great game for... Well, you guys don't even care.
I forgot.
Yeah.
What team are we talking about?
Wolves are back in business tonight. They're part of tonight is a ridiculous 9 o'clock start time at home against Milwaukee. Absolutely ridiculous. Well, I got a text from Hats Jesus, H-A-T-Z. Why, Cubby?
'Cause he nasty.
H-A-T-Z, Hats Jesus. Are any of you guys, this is my imitation of Hats Jesus, are any of you guys going to either of the Wolves games tonight or tomorrow night? I'm going to both. Can I get a shout out? I never miss a game. No, I will not be at either tonight or tomorrow night's game, but have fun, man, and thanks for texting in, Hats Jesus, and I hope my imitation of you was close. Josh, you do your imitation of Hats Jesus. Now you read it.
I can't beat that.
Do your imitation of him.
That was spot on.
A toy.
Oh,
Hats Jesus.
That's terrible.
I didn't mean that.
The Pigs play in Alberta tonight. They're at Edmonton. Tomorrow they play at the home rink of the completely unnecessary Seattle Kraken. Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder will be here in a half hour, and around 8 a.m. we'll get the Dad Fights, I believe, part 159. It's going to be just a thrill ride. We'll be right back with Josh's news report.
Half-Assed Morning Show.
They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act, they're a nuisance.
93X.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
Standard Heating is having their 94-year celebration. They have special offers just for you this February. Whether you need a new furnace or a tune-up, they have something special for everyone. Visit standardheating.com to save today.
The Rolling Stone Music Now podcast gets inside the biggest stories with Rolling Stone senior writer Brian Hyatt.
And here's Lil Yachty with Tierra Whack. I've never been to a fashion show. I never did any Paris Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week, and I'll tell you why. Because I would always go to events and people would say to me, "Oh man, Yachty, man, I love your music, bro." And I should be like, "What song?" I didn't even, at the time, I didn't love my music. I would feel like I'm in a room with all these artists and they all respect each other, and I feel like no one respects me.
Rolling Stone Music Now, wherever you listen. Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
I hope she recovers. We were going to talk at the school to have a conversation.
A Syracuse mom burst into her daughter's classroom and repeatedly punched the teacher in the face, breaking several bones as at least 25 horrified children looked on.
Oh, nice. My gosh.
Jesus.
31-year-old Lenzina Sutton arrived at Lincoln Middle School Friday with her mother, Roxanne Tompkins, and both women attempted to make their way past security. The day prior, Sutton's daughter told her teacher, "My mom will handle this," after she was disciplined for allegedly lying about her whereabouts during the school day. While Tompkins was prevented from entering the next morning, the 4-foot 10-inch Sutton had her hood pulled over her head and was able to blend in with other kids. "Hello, fellow kids." She then headed to her daughter's classroom and proceeded to repeatedly punch the female teacher in the face as traumatized students looked on. The victim, described as a dedicated veteran educator, suffered a concussion and several broken bones in her face, officials said.
Can you even believe it?
No, this is ridiculous. Sutton, you had a whole hallway to calm down, and even overnight you could have figured it out.
Just straight up psychotic.
Sutton managed to leave the school after the beating, but was later arrested and charged with burglary and assault. The teacher's been released from the hospital, and she's going to be okay.
That's so horrifying.
A West Virginia man has been charged after allegedly stealing sandwiches by using threats of violence and then growling at people. According to a criminal complaint, officers were dispatched Tuesday to a Subway restaurant for a reported disturbance. When they arrived, witnesses stated that 48-year-old David Clark entered the Subway, went behind the counter, and started to make and eat food. You got to pay for that. Only ducks eat free at Subway.
I was in downtown Boise, Idaho, and I saw a duck, and I knew the duck was lost because ducks ain't supposed to be downtown. There's nothing for him there. So I went to a Subway sandwich shop. I said, "Let me have a bun." But she wouldn't sell me just the bun. She said I had to have something on it. So I said, "All right, we'll put some lettuce on," which they did. They said, "That'll be $1.75. I said, "It's for a duck." They said, "All right, well, then it's free." See, I did not know that. Ducks eat for free at Subway. Had I known that, I would have ordered a much larger sandwich. Let me have the steak fajita sub. But don't bother ringing it up. It's for a duck. There are 6 ducks out there, and they all want sun chips.
Comedian Mitch Hedberg, he would have celebrated a birthday tomorrow. While Clark was behind the counter, staff told him to stop, but he responded by raising his fists in a threatening manner and making verbal threats to staff, who all fled the restaurant in fear.
Oh, this guy was so freaky, they all just ran smooth out of there.
He did look like he was going to throw down.
Mm-hmm.
Responding officers located him outside the Subway with the unpaid food in his mouth and said Clark was growling at citizens in the area.
There you go.
A 20-year-old driver is facing charges after he slammed his vehicle into a tree while attempting to have sexual intercourse with a passenger, police in Canada say.
Hey.
Ontario Provincial Police were called around 9 p.m. Sunday after a vehicle left the roadway and ended up in a ditch. Paramedics, fire services, and an air ambulance responded due to the severity of the crash, as both the driver and passenger sustained injuries, maybe even to their privates.
Yeah, I was just going to ask. I mean, did it get torn off?
Yeah, they didn't say specifics. Investigators subsequently determined the cause of the collision was due to the driver and passenger's attempt at having sex while driving. The driver told police they saw a deer in their path, which caused them to veer off the road and collide into a tree. But officers detected the smell of alcohol on the driver's breath, and then they realized the truth. In a news release issued Tuesday, police referred to the driver and passenger as a, quote, frisky duo. The 20-year-old driver was arrested and is facing charges of dangerous operation and novice driver with a blood alcohol concentration level above 0.
You gotta be careful.
Thinking with your pecker.
Yep. You can make some bad decisions.
To an almost lethal result.
Yeah, thankfully nobody else was hurt, and the 2 of them didn't pass away.
Parking lots in Canada?
Yeah, maybe they needed the thrill. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. A now suspended attorney in Arkansas is facing legal difficulties after he was arrested for allegedly driving drunk last week 2 times in the same evening and only 6 hours apart. Brian Donaldson was first pulled over by deputies with the Crittenden County Sheriff's Office about 4:07 p.m. Saturday p.m. He was booked into the county jail for DUI and refusing to take a BAC test, and then released about 2 hours later. However, it Didn't take 6 hours before Donaldson was back in custody.
Happy hour all over again.
At about 9:59 p.m. the same Saturday, he was booked into Crittenden County Jail again for the second time on the exact same charges. He was released Sunday morning about 3 a.m. While the suspended attorney's double DUI charges are certainly serious, they aren't nearly as consequential as the federal charges he's currently facing. Donaldson, in October 2021, was charged with 2 counts of sex trafficking and 1 count of conspiracy to commit sex trafficking.
Oh, no.
All of which are felonies.
Maybe you'd be drunk, too, if you were accused of such things.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
In related news, a Canadian man was arrested twice Tuesday after allegedly driving while impaired in order to visit a police station and complain about an earlier public intoxication arrest. The 42-year-old was first arrested for causing a disturbance in a restaurant. He was intoxicated and refused to leave, so the cops showed up. They drove him home, but the man was furious. So shortly afterward, he drove himself to the police station and demanded to talk with a supervisor about his previous arrest.
That's brilliant.
He appeared drunk, and he was failing a breathalyzer, so police again arrested him for DUI.
I'm going to go talk to these cops, but not before I get a good shine on, I'll tell you that.
Gonna get a little drunker. I'm going to give them a piece of my mind. Police in New York arrested a 25-year-old court clerk who they say unofficially used her credentials to dismiss tickets for friends. Haley Whalen was charged with 4 counts of falsifying business records, 4 counts of tampering with public records, 4 counts of official misconduct, and 4 counts of criminal contempt.
She sounds like a good person to know, in theory.
Yeah, she can help you out.
Yeah.
State police said an investigation began Tuesday, February 6, after which point she was placed on administrative leave. Though she was working part-time at the time of her arrest, she was hired as a full-time clerk in the court in 2021 and was still working in that capacity at the time of the alleged incidents. I wonder how much trouble the friends are going to get in, if they throw anything else at them.
Good
Maybe
question.
they can't prove they didn't know it was nefarious in nature. I don't know. A bumbling birthday boy spent his big day in the clink for allegedly cracking a bomb joke, which didn't go over too well with the airport police. Mac Bjorn of Reno, Nevada, was on the jetway for his flight from Fort Lauderdale to San Francisco Saturday, his 27th birthday.
Fort Lauderdale to San Francisco, that sounds like a poke.
Yeah.
He decided to joke that the TSA had missed a bomb in his bag, which turned out to be a bad idea. When a flight attendant confronted Bjorn about his poor choice of words, he allegedly doubled down and reaffirmed the TSA missed the bomb in his bag.
Oh, man.
He was placed under arrest, and authorities did find no bomb on him.
What a funny guy.
Another guy who likes to joke around in dumb ways is 25-year-old Yusef Hanna, who was seen shooting his firearm from the back seat of a silver sedan near Larry's Ultra Lounge in the early hours of February 20th near Nashville. He admitted to shooting in the air from the car after drinking 4 to 5 beers and 4 to 5 shots of vodka. He tried to explain, the officers tried to explain that shooting a firearm while intoxicated is a crime, to which Hanna stated he was just, quote, having some fun. He then explained that he thought it was okay to shoot in the air because he wasn't pointing it at people. He was taken into custody for possessing a weapon while under the influence.
This guy's stupid.
Yeah, that's a pretty good level of dumb right there. He's 25. Come on. A joint public memorial service will be held next week for the 3 Burnsville first responders killed in the line of duty on Sunday. The memorial service for the 3 men will be at 11 a.m. Wednesday at Grace Church. The city of Burnsville said they'll have further details about the service early next week. If you'd like to help the families, you can find official links on 93x.com and all of our socials, as well as Burnsville's website as well. And as a reminder, authorities have warned that there's some buttholes out there trying to scam people with phony fundraisers. So it's best to find the links at any of the places I mentioned.
Yeah, fair enough.
New music from 93x.com's notable new releases post this week includes 10,000 Volts, the latest from Ace Frehley. Ace Frehley's 10,000 Volts is the former Kiss guitarist's 8th studio effort and first new album since 2020's Origins Volume 2.
Some bitch is still trying it out.
Still doing it.
Yeah.
Former Motley Crue guitarist Mick Mars released his solo debut album this week called The Other Side of Mars.
He and Ace Frehley should go on tour together, and they could call it the We Don't Get Around Like We Used to tour.
The Other Side of Mars features members of Korn and Winger.
What?
Korn and Winger.
Playing in Mick Mars' band?
Yeah. Paul Taylor is on keyboards. Paul Taylor of Winger.
Well, that's great.
There was a Wolverine sighting in Rochester this week. Actor Hugh Jackman was playing a little golf there Tuesday night. Employees at Chip Shots Indoor Golf took pictures with the X-Men star, who played a few rounds of golf on the virtual course and posed for several photographs on his way out the door.
Help us. Fight with us.
Fight with you? Or join the team? Be an X-Man? Who the hell do you think you are? You're a mutant. The whole world out there is full of people that hate and fear you, and you're wasting your time trying to protect them? I got better things to do.
Jackman's next big project is opposite Ryan Reynolds in this year's Deadpool and Wolverine, set to release late July. No word on why Jackman was in town.
You can't wait to go see Wolverine versus Deadman or whatever that guy's called.
No, I can't. I really enjoy the Deadpool movie.
They're so funny.
They are.
Hilarious. And if you like graphic violence, they got that for you as well.
Yep, plenty of that.
Sunday night on AMC, the series premiere of The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live. What?
It's still happening.
It is. This is a spin-off featuring the return of The Walking Dead characters Rick Grimes and Michonne. Again, that's called The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live. Wrestling legend Ric Flair has a birthday on Sunday.
He made it to another one?
Yep, the Nature Boy will turn 75. Tomorrow, Billy Zane, the a-hole in Titanic, 58. Finally, comedian Aziz Ansari turns 41 today, and 6'9" Dallas Cowboys legend Ed Too Tall Jones, 73. Thank you to Ojibwe Jesus. He let us know someone else we need to thank, and that is Gina, a.k.a. Gina Jesus, the founder of the Salt Lake City chapter of the Sisterhood. Safe travels to Beyond Remodeling Jesus / Weird Penis Jesus and his wife Erin, road tripping to do some out-of-state snowboarding. Happy belated 14th anniversary of your 29th birthday to Doesn't Play Well with Others Jesus from Outdoor Rink Jesus. Happy belated birthday to Friendly Diabetic Jesus, who noticed we took yesterday off to celebrate his 37th. Saw him at Mr. Big.
Oh,
he was at Mr. Big.
Awesome.
Happy 48th Sunday to the Chuck Jesus from your son, What the Chuck Jesus. Happy birthday to Hall in Your Wood Jesus from the whole family.
Care 11's Randy Shaver
on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
You're not going to like it, but the call on the ice was correct. No goal.
No, that's some good description there from Garrett Ray.
That's a cute little no-goal call by the NHL official handling the St. Louis Blues somebody else game the other night. He kind of sounded like... what was Chris Farley's character when he was living in a van down by the river?
Matt Foley.
Matt Foley.
Kind of came off like Matt Foley there. Hello, Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What do you guys think of this new routine we got going? Because we're going to try and stick with it. From here on out, we're going to work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, go see Mr. Big live in concert from the third row, take Thursday off, and then work Friday.
I think it's a great plan.
It doesn't affect my work week at all.
No, it doesn't. Doesn't do anything to Brad Ryder.
Well, then we'll have to add Mondays. We'll take off Monday as well.
Sure.
Just for you, Brad.
Now everybody gets an extra day.
We took yesterday.
Hello?
Off. So we could really enjoy ourselves Wednesday night.
Gosh, I thought I was like, I thought maybe I had frozen up.
I
thought there was a fire in the building again.
I was hoping one or the other would have fallen for that. We took yesterday off so we could really go enjoy that show, and I have to say that, the zero responsibilities, not worrying about show prep, not worrying about getting up in the morning, it helped us enjoy the show even more.
Yeah. Was it worth it?
Oh God.
Dude, it was so good.
It was perfect.
Good.
They were perfect. And we want to thank all the members of the Brother and Sisterhood who walked up and said, hello.
That was
very cool.
Yeah, thank you so much for introducing yourself.
At the old Fitzgerald Theater. You boys ever been to the joint?
I don't know if I have.
I cannot say that I have.
It's really nice. That was my first time. That's a great place to see a show.
Yeah, I liked it quite a bit. One of my favorite parts is that I had to go to the bathroom at one point. It sucked that I had to leave, but I could hear it really good in the bathroom still. I love when that happens.
You could hear the show.
Yeah, then you don't feel like you're missing it.
That's good, because you're very noisy in the bathroom. It's disgusting.
I can be.
Josh was telling me off air that, this was something he's been looking forward to his entire life. He's been a lifelong Mr. Big fan, but had never seen them in concert. And here he was. He and I were sitting side by side in the third row. When they hit their intro music, I asked Josh if he was nervous, and he said yes.
Then I asked Nick, thinking he was going to say yes, too, and you said not at all.
No, I wasn't nervous at all. But Josh said, when I walked in here this morning, he told me off air that he almost had to miss a couple of songs because his tummy acted up on him.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I took for whatever reason, my stomach decided it wanted to be like yours. And I thought, not now. Not the first time I get to see Mr. Big.
Wouldn't that have been something?
I made it, though, luckily.
Duck into the bathroom.
A lot of prayer and luck.
You could have heard the music from the bathroom, according to Ashley.
Yeah.
That's right.
Triple D cheeses. Cheeses, like the food that you... she's telling me that the Fitzgerald Theater is haunted.
Oh, is that right?
I have heard that. Yep.
I didn't notice anything squirrely going on. Get back to us, Triple D cheeses, and tell us more about these Triple Ds. And then go on, if you like, also with some more information on this haunted theater. What happens over there? Let us know. Till we get back to her, we got some things to cover, and then we got to have a little brawl amongst the boys here by about 8 o'clock. Dad Fights Part 100 plus 59 coming up. The Wolves are back in business tonight, and they're part of a ridiculous 9 o'clock start time at home against the Milwaukee Bucks. And then Saturday, they host the Brooklyn Nets at a slightly more reasonable tip-off of somewheres after 8 o'clock.
They got just looking at this, seven home games in a row in the next 10 days. So they got a lot of basketball at home in the next 10 days. I can tell you they probably don't like that. As an organization, they don't like long homestands. They don't like long road trips, obviously, but they don't like long homestands in a short amount of time.
The fellas get too comfortable.
Well, they don't like it from an attendance standpoint either, because when you got so many games in a short amount of time, it's harder to draw people out to each one of them.
Be a lot easier when you're playing well, though.
Sure. And after tonight, the next 3 games, we might be able to put 5 people together to beat these 3 teams: Brooklyn, San Antonio, and Memphis. So
I don't know about San Antonio.
They're not good. Check the
I don't think Josh can guard Wemby as well as he used to.
I could.
I'm more of a work the paint guy. I get in there.
That's funny. We could put together 5 guys, you think, Brad Ryder, to beat San Antonio, Memphis, and Brooklyn.
We might be able to, yeah.
Tonight is tough.
I was just picturing me guarding Wembayama.
Yes.
That'd be silly.
I think you could guard his right leg.
I'm like probably knee height.
I mean, Josh, like a lot of us, you'd probably get caught up in the inside of his shorts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We've said before when Nick and I were lucky enough to meet Yao Ming.
Yao Ming!
Whoa.
How silly I look next to him.
I bet that is just hilarious.
Oh, it was awesome.
He was
to
so
meet him.
friendly.
He was so sweet to us.
That's cool.
But, I'm sure he's probably used to patting people on the head.
I've always wondered, like, what do I look like from your point of view? I'm probably just ridiculous.
From mine?
No, from Oz.
From a guy like Yao Ming.
I was going to say, I've only got like an inch on you.
Was he 7'4", 5"?
I thought he was even taller.
7'4", I think.
7'4" or 5". Yeah.
7'6", according to Wikipedia.
Wow.
So there you go. The Wolves are back, and I read another glowing article about this year's version of the Timberwolves from a website called Bleacher Report. And I really thought, because being a big fan and talking about it on this program, they have shown signs of struggling in clutch time. They've had third and fourth quarter disasters. So when I read this article, the headline is describing every NBA team right now in 5 words or less. I thought they were going to say something like prone to pant wetting or something because of the way they folded in the third and fourth quarters a time or 3 or 4. But instead, the 5 words they use, 5 or less, to describe the Wolves right now is ready to break out.
Yeah.
And they talk about how they've been bounced out of the playoffs in the first round the last 2 postseasons. this might be where we see that they're ready to break out. They mentioned Carl and Anthony Edwards now have legitimate help in Mike Conley Jr. and Rudy Gobert. And everything is coming together brilliantly, they say. Wow, it's a very shining review of the Timberwolves on this website.
That would be an extremely disappointing thing if they were to get bounced in the first round of the playoffs.
That depends on who they play, in my opinion.
Sure does.
Well, I don't think it matters who they play. I honestly don't. I think losing a first-round playoff series after the season that they've put together this year, I think would be extremely disappointing.
Well, number one, it ain't over yet, and they could finish somewhere 4 or 5. You know, Randy Shaver,
I think Nick, I honestly think if they were to somehow drop into the 4 spot or the 3 spot or even the 5 spot and still lose a first-round matchup, I still think that would be extremely
even to
disappointing.
the Denver Nuggets, the defending champions?
Yes, I do. I think they have built up enough equity in the course of this season for people to think this is a team that's got a super good chance to make a run in the playoffs, and to fade out of the top spot. I don't think anybody's going to have any sort of a fit over that. But to lose a first-round matchup, I think after all the things that have happened so far this year, I think that'd be extremely disappointing.
I think it's going to depend on how that would happen. I mean, if they would lose like 4 of their last 5 in the regular season and drop to the, you know what I mean? I think it depends on how it happens a little bit.
Yeah, it depends on who they play and how it happens, whether or not I will be greatly disappointed. Speaking of the Denver Nuggets, Nikola Jokic made history last night. The Nuggets beat the Washington Wizards, and Jokic became only the 3rd player in NBA history to post now officially a triple-double against every team they've ever played against.
Like I always say, it's just something after I finish career legacy milestone. Like I'm going to look back and I'm going to say that's a really cool thing to do.
I caught the word legacy, and that was it.
Cool thing to do.
Okay.
I was going to say Vegas isn't convinced yet, though, of the Timberwolves. They are still 22-1 to win the NBA championship.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up, because the closing information in this Bleacher Report article on the Timberwolves, which was very positive, said, I don't know if you guys follow this kind of thing, the Timberwolves are the most likely team from the West to win the NBA Finals, according to Basketball Reference's Playoff Probabilities Report, based on 10,000 simulations of the remainder of the season.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Right.
To win the NBA, to win the West?
Most likely from the West.
Most likely team from the Western Conference to win the finals.
Gosh, I disagree with that.
According to 10,000 simulations that they've played out, I don't exactly know what those simulations entail, for the remainder of the season. They've played it out 10,000 times. I don't know if they're sitting there with a video or whatever.
Computer, probably.
Computer.
Running a
word hasn't reached the desert yet, because Denver's still 4-1 to win the NBA championship, and the Timberwolves are 22-1.
How about that nice win for the men's Golden Gopher basketball club last night?
Impressive.
Yeah, very solid.
Sons of bitches. They did her. They got her done. They put up 88 damn points. They beat Ohio State by 9. They're a game above 500 in the conference now.
It's a big win. There's no doubt. It's a big win, because they've got a couple of super big tests coming up on the road. I mean, they're on the outside looking in for a shot at making the tournament. With 5 games left, if they can win 4 of those 5, and that's asking a lot. If they can win, because 3 of them are on the road and a couple of them are against teams that are really good, they've got an outside shot.
By the way, real quick, back to that simulation setup where they played out the remainder of the NBA regular season 10,000 times. A listener, Mopar Dad Jesus, he said they played NBA 2.4K on simulation. That's how they Does that make any sense? What is it?
Like what they do with Madden.
Does, yeah. I mean, again, I don't know what that means.
Just in case you were worried about the specifics, they played a video game, NBA 2K on set. Okay,
we have another follow-up from Triple D Cheeses, if you're interested in Fitzgerald and the haunting of the
Triple
Fitzgerald.
D Cheeses, yes. What did she say about the haunting at Fitzgerald Theater?
Well, the first thing she said in her text is all natural Triple Ds.
I'll be
just to get that out there.
I knew it.
Nice.
The Fitzgerald Theater is considered one of the most haunted places in Minnesota, she said. The theater is rumored to be haunted by two ghosts, Ben, a former stagehand, and Veronica, a former actress. What? I had never heard that.
I wish I would have remembered that or known that before going. It would have added something to the concept.
They haunted my tummy for a little bit there, that's for sure.
Yeah, it even says that the building went through restoration in 1985. Workers removed a false ceiling and found a second balcony where a note was written up to Ben.
Whoa. To Ben. A note was written. What was the rest of that sentence?
To Ben.
To Ben?
Yeah.
What did the note say?
I have no idea.
Oh, spooky.
Yeah,
that's not spooky at all, Ashley.
I was going to say there's a lack of detail there that would frighten me.
Veronica can be heard singing sometimes in the auditorium.
She was singing, "You be looking groovy in a 60s movie." How about the game last night for Golden Gopher point guard Elijah Hawkins? I love that kid. He scored 24 points. He is so slick with the basketball, and he's a better shooter than I think he's given credit for. And he shot the ball last night. I wonder if Ben Johnson said, "Let her buck, kid. You can shoot." Dawson Garcia, Pharrell Payne had good games. One of these next tough games you're talking about, Randy Shaver, Sunday at Nebraska.
Right. And on a night where Cam Christie struggled to shoot the basketball, did some other things okay for them, but, I think offensively they needed other guys to pick them up. And I thought Parker Fox, again, off the bench with the energy and the things that he does for them.
Imagine how good he'd be.
Some of those things aren't you don't see in the box score either. It's just the hustle plays that.
Imagine how good that Parker Fox would be if his knee hadn't given way on him twice in 2 years. I was reading about the Big Ten tournament coming to town next month. Now that's men's and women's, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, the women's is the second weekend of March, and the men's is the third weekend.
Basically, almost sold out.
The women's tournament is sold out, is what I read this morning.
Yeah, it was close. I know that.
Some of those ticket prices are getting for the women's tournament. Oh my gosh!
Both men's and women's. I heard somebody said something to me about $300 is the lowest ticket price right now for the men's or women's damn tournament. Which
I can see for an Iowa game with Caitlin Clark. That's the reason why. So
yeah, it's a damn shame. I'm so tired of these friggin' ticket prices. For Christ's sake, can't an average person go see a stinking ball game? A big ball game anymore? It's a damn shame. Pigs playing in Alberta tonight at Edmonton. Tomorrow they play at the home rink of the completely unnecessary Seattle Kraken. And they got some injury problems again. Who was I reading? Our guy Marky Foligno is not going to be able to take the ice and this and that. But
yeah, they're 4 points behind St. Louis as the last playoff spot with 3 teams ahead of them, Nashville, Seattle, and Calgary. So it's a big week for them, big weekend.
The girls' state hockey tournament's going on right now?
It is.
Yeah.
Is it going to be on television?
I think the semifinals
My
today.
newspaper didn't indicate any television.
Well,
usually the championship
maybe
game is
not
on.
until the championship.
Okay. I thought they put this stuff on television.
Today's semifinals.
All right. Got some baseball stuff here for you before we get to dad fights. Okay, so we talked about this last week. There's a problem with the jerseys that the big leaguers are going to be wearing this year. Fanatics put together these jerseys, and they don't fit right, and they're too tight, and this and that. Fanatics also designed the pants, and what we're learning now is that this is going to be a real problem. The pants are see-through.
They sure are.
Yeah, they are.
Did anyone, you guys saw the pictures?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
That's up on our website, isn't it?
Yep.
Especially the one guy bent over. Whoa.
I didn't see a bent over, but I saw a Shohei.
That's the only one I saw.
And some nondescript player from the Seattle Mariners. There were still photographs of these guys going around the godless internet. and they've got their new uniforms on, posing for a picture, and you can, in great detail, see how far their jerseys are tucked down the front of their pants.
Mm-hmm.
The pants are friggin' see-through. What the hell are they going to do? Can't have testicles knocking around on live television and ass cheeks and things like that. Can you?
I didn't think so.
Depends on the channel.
But, I mean,
Huh?
I'll probably tune in a lot more.
Yeah, you want to see Max Kepler in one of those pairs of trousers, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Or less.
Yeah.
Randy and Brad, did you see the see-through pants?
No,
I did, yes.
I have
I'm
not
looking
yet.
at them.
It was like an old David Lee Roth outfit from the early 80s. You'd see right through the damn things.
It looks like the semifinals for girls high school hockey will be on 45 TV today and tomorrow.
My
Well,
newspaper
the
didn't tell
semis
me.
are tomorrow, finals.
Wapo, call my newspaper.
Okay.
They didn't have that information in there for me, and now I feel terrible. Trey Turner, what the hell was that?
Somebody just got pinned in the wrestling.
Oh, boy.
What?
It was someone lifting at Brad's college.
Yes.
Oh, okay. You mentioned this last week that you were wondering if we could hear the workout sounds going on in the background, because right below your office is a gym.
Right below my office is the weight room.
I hear them.
Yeah, they're going at it.
Yes. Lift that bar. There
Well,
we go.
that's going on at Randy's house, not mine.
Oh, someone just got kicked in the head. So, but that first noise we heard, was that legit?
Yeah, somebody dropped a weight. Yeah.
I'm going to start listening closer for this.
Yeah, I missed it last time.
There's a gym right underneath your office, and you can hear the fellas and the ladies pressing weights. Any of them got a leaf blower down there?
No sign of that yet. I just told Wapo we got about 8 more weeks of this, and then I don't have to sit here. I can be home.
Oh, you can't catch a break, man.
No.
All right, back to these big league uniforms designed by fanatics, and all the players are...
Not yet.
Trey Turner of
Go
the
back.
Philadelphia Phillies. Trey Turner said, quote, "Everyone hates them."
Oh, boy.
Well, that's a problem because they're not going to switch back over to the other provider.
No.
They've got to deal with fanatics, so...
Guys are going to have to start wearing those spandex again.
Oh, sure.
That's probably what they'll do, so there's not hairy ass cheeks and and big penises swinging around while... Right? They're going to have to go back to the spandex.
Yeah.
Prominent sweat marks.
Oh, yeah.
And poop.
Oh.
Right? Well, every once in a while, a guy has an... I'm serious.
Yeah,
We've
you're
seen
right.
it before. Guys gamble and lose out there.
Hey, we'll be able to notice who wears nut cups and who doesn't.
You sure will.
Something I've always been curious about.
Well, I'll tell you what. Here's a documentary that I will be tuning into. Netflix is coming out with a documentary on the demise of the Montreal Expos. I think that'll be very interesting. This is the 20th anniversary this year of the Expos leaving Montreal for Washington, D.C. There's no release date yet on when you can watch this documentary, but when I was a kid, I got into the Montreal Expos first and foremost because of the uniforms. And then I fell in love with some of the players like Gary Carter and Tim Raines and Andre Dawson and
Rusty Staub.
Rusty Staub, come on. Are you talking about Le Grand Orange?
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Rusty Staub came to Montreal, I think, in their inaugural season in 1968 or whatever it was, right, Randy? Right around that time period.
Yep.
Rusty Staub,
Went for the
red-haired.
Mets for a while, but ended up with the Expos.
Red-haired kid from California. I think he was from California. And the French Canadians fell in love with Rusty Staub because he learned to speak French so he could communicate with the media, and he was just a solid ball player. They just loved Rusty Staub, and they gave him, because of his red hairdo, they gave him the nickname Le Grand Orange. Did he die?
I don't know. Yeah, you're good at predicting that. I'm not.
Did Rusty?
Yes.
He died.
There's another guy that played for the Expos that, when I was growing up, was someone that we would try to emulate when we were playing wiffle ball in the driveway.
Okay.
And that was Ron Hunt.
Okay. Josh knows his brother.
I think it's Ron. I think that's his name. I think he led the major league in hit by pitches.
I remember Ron Hunt
used to always get a little guy. Used to always get beamed all the time.
Oh.
Tim Wallach,
Larry Walker,
Tim Raines,
and I'll tell you this, and this is hard for me to even talk about. I mean, we mentioned that Montreal loved Rusty Staub. Above all, Montreal loved Gary Carter. Mm-hmm. That city worshipped Gary Carter, and when he died, Josh, when's the last time Cubby teared up, had a good cry, aside from the Mr. Big show?
Mr. Big had teared up.
Yeah, I saw that.
A good cry?
Yeah. Watch.
I don't remember.
When Gary Carter died, how many years ago has that been now? And it was cancer, and it was just terrible. How many years ago was Gary Carter
It's
died?
been a few.
Yeah.
2012.
2012. That's insane to me that it's been that long. If I remember correctly, the Montreal Canadiens had a home game. The night after or whatever when Gary Carter died, and they did a video tribute to Gary Carter before the game, and it is the most wonderful tribute I have ever seen. It's so sad, but I mean, Montreal loved that guy. If you have a chance to watch that, I believe it's still on YouTube. Oh my damn.
So just for the record,
yes.
so I don't sound like I'm losing it, Ron Hunt led the major leagues in hit by pitch in 1971. He got hit 50 times in 1971.
And paranoid.
And as a career, he is fifth all time. In his career, he was hit 243 times in his career.
Holy wow.
Only Craig Biggio at 285. A guy by the name of Tommy Tucker, that name does not ring a bell, 272. Don Baylor got hit 267 times, and that's a big guy. That's not a guy I would want to hit by pitch.
But Don did stand right on the plate.
He did.
He did.
Yeah.
And Ron Hunt did that too.
He played a long time too, Don Baylor.
Oh, yeah. That's great. One more note on baseball. 50 times in a year.
In a season.
Yeah.
Yes.
One more baseball note. We got a text message from a listener by the name of Smilin' Dave Jesus, and he went to Twins fantasy camp last month. And he said he talked to our guy, Dick Bramer.
Yes, good.
And he asked Dick if he was coming back on our show this year, and at the time, Dick said, well, it's possible. Well, we got the high sign from Dick Bramer. He will be coming back
Fabulous.
to talk baseball with us this season. But Smilin' Dave Jesus mentioned that he told Dick Bramer how much he enjoyed Dick's segment on our program, and Dick said he was amazed at the reach of our program.
Well, welcome to the club. Because I'm amazed too.
All right, we got to get going here shortly.
I'm just learning this. That's great. That's great.
I wonder if that Expos documentary is going to mention the Twins at all, because back in 2001, if you remember, they were going to eliminate both the Twins and the Expos.
That's correct.
And that's when I was working for the Twins, and I still remember Dave St. Peter coming in my office during the off-season. He said, our biggest off-season project here is we got to preserve all the records because we might not be around much longer.
Wow.
Yeah, there was an article, Brad, that came out earlier this week about the possibility of Major League Baseball expanding and what would be the cities that were most likely at the top of the list of expansion. And a couple of them were Charlotte and Raleigh.
Right.
And if you remember, that's where the Twins were supposed to end up. It's part of contraction. It's part of contraction.
Real quick, before we move on to dad fights, this video with Austin Theory of the WWE threatening to slap a reporter, that's a work.
It has.
Oh, yeah. The acting is pretty bad.
Okay. I just wanted to see if I was losing my mind.
No, I totally agree.
I thought it was an obvious work, like a tribute to Dr. Death Steve Williams. Who here doesn't know what I'm talking about when I say Dr. Death Steve Williams?
I remember the name.
It was the exact same thing.
Right. One of the most legendary videos in wrestling history is Dr. Death Steve Williams, who was crazy. Early 80s, he's backstage at a show in South Carolina or some godforsaken place, and some reporter gets in his face and says, you know, what you do is fake, and Dr. Death flipped out and slapped the living piss out of this poor guy and got in a lot of trouble. And so recently, a new video pops up of current WWE wrestler Austin Theory threatening to slap a reporter, and that was my initial thought was, okay, they're doing the Steve Williams bit. I just wanted to check and see if I was losing my mind. You don't know that video, Dana, being an old school wrestling fan?
No, I don't remember that
dude.
one.
I bet you've seen it. You're just not remembering.
Mm-hmm.
How's that feel? Does that feel fake to you? Oh, he slaps the living hell out of this guy. What about that? That's an open hand slap. You like that? And the reporter's just cowering. It was terrible, really. The behavior on Steve Williams' part was terrible.
I can play a clip if you want to hear that.
Oh,
Austin.
man, I love it. I mean, it brings back great memories.
What'd you just say? I mean, it's fake. Like, you know, what do you mean? What are you hitting each other? Hold on a second. You brought me here and you're going to talk to me like this? Well, yeah, hey, no, man. I mean, no. Just because you're in charge of some here, man, don't mean you can talk to me like this. I didn't mean to offend you. You're saying what I do is easy, and you're in front of all your people in here talking about my job's easy. You couldn't walk a damn day in my shoes. You see? Got me in here. Dude, are you kidding me, man? I'll smack the out of you right now. I'm not playing around. Oh, bring me all the way here for some media, man. This guy's talking his head off, man. It's his problem, dude.
That's the Theory audio, yeah. I thought you had the doc. And I sorry, I misspoke. It's David Schultz, not Steve Williams. Sorry. David Schultz, Dr. Death, whatever the hell they call it. He was the one who did the slapping back in the early 80s. David Schultz, I apologize. Jesus Christ, wrestling fans are wetting themselves and texting. Yes, David Schultz, I'm sorry. If you watch ESPN2 this weekend, Sunday night at 9 o'clock, you can see a street snowboarding event that was recently held here in St. Paul. Brad, have you ever tried street snowboarding, and how did it go?
I can't say that I have.
You haven't tried it?
No.
You look like a street snowboarder.
Do I?
He does.
Yeah, you can shred a gnar or two, I bet.
Oh, so many gnars.
What my face looks like it's been on the tar a few times? Is that what you're referring to?
You just look alternative, you know what I mean? Like you would...
It's the piercings, the tattoos.
Waffle, have you tried street snowboarding?
Not street snowboarding, but I have been snowboarding in like board parks and stuff like that, so it's kind of similar. It's urban snowboarding.
Urban snowboarding is what you've done.
I actually went to this event too a couple weeks ago, and boy, was it packed!
I'll tell you what, I heard
wasn't
about
this at the Capitol?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
You couldn't see anything. There were so many people.
Were you smoking them big fat blunts?
Yeah.
Word?
Oh, yeah. And I had a flask of whiskey.
Not a boy.
A flask.
Yep.
Fancy.
All right, let's drop the mitts already. What do you think? Oh, my God.
What the hell?
You know, we were talking about the Montreal Expos. Killer Jesus texted in and he said, I loved watching Andres Galarraga play for the Expos.
Sure.
Especially the big cat, Andres Galarraga. And Killer Jesus said he especially liked watching him when Harry Carey had to say his name. Andre, and please, if anybody even had the slightest thought to play Will Ferrell's sickeningly overrated imitation of Harry Carey, please don't do it. Not today. I'm having a good time. And then Killer Jesus also wants you, Randy Shaver, to tell Scott Steiner that wrestling is fake.
Oh.
Next time you run into Scott Steiner.
Anytime. I'm not afraid.
You know where he'd end up, don't you, Wapple? You know where he'd end up, Randy Shaver? He'd end up in the Steiner recliner. And that is not a comfortable place to be.
I'm not afraid to die.
Scott Steiner had muscles on his muscles.
Oh, yeah. He's intimidating, man.
Mm-hmm. And you know what his veins had? His veins had other veins.
Natural, too.
Oh, as natural as the day he was born. Mm-hmm. Every Friday morning, we cut loose with our weekly trivia showdown. It's called Dad Fights, and this year is episode 159. Every Friday. There we go. Let's get everything cleared out before we start. Randy and Brad are ready to feverishly toss our trivia salad. Earlier this week, the Pigs had that lights-out comeback win at home over the Vancouver Canuck. where I believe the boys set the franchise record for goals in a period. Between the two clubs, I think they set the Pigs franchise record for combined goals in a game, and there might have been some other records. The accuracy of those records that I just mentioned don't really matter. It's all just a way to set up where we're going with this week's trivia topic. Where we're going with this, despite the fun we all had with that Pigs game, it doesn't necessarily have to be a glorious, wonderful, positive record or statistic for it to be cherished and remembered. Doesn't have to be positive, glorious stuff, a record or an impressive statistic for it to be remembered. It can be awful or embarrassing, and we'll still enjoy it. Today we're going to dump hints and information on YouTube Pukes. Hints and information on some of the bad or ugly or embarrassing records or statistics that players and teams have put up. And you'll have to name the player or the team responsible for the specific disaster. Again, these are not the all-time great moments in sports, quite the opposite. These are unfortunate moments. You follow?
Sure.
Yes.
I guess.
As we always state, we have to always state the rules, don't we, Josh?
Yeah, it's good to do.
You want to be the first one to shout out the correct answer. And if you do, you'll hear my cute little bell over here, and that means you get a point. Wapple's feeling kind of retro today. He's feeling kind of retro. He showed up wearing bell bottoms and a big trucker hat.
Yeah, I got it in afro and everything.
He's got it kind of cocked to the side. His trucker hat's kind of cocked to the side. He's feeling retro, so our incorrect sound effect, we're going back to the Costco intercom fart.
A classic.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
If you hear that, you are incorrect. You can steal a point from your opponent if they answer incorrectly. 10 challenges plus a tiebreaker if necessary is how we operate. Rat Queen Jesus is set to kick it off.
This is Rat Queen Jesus from Mounds View, Minnesota, father of 2 beautiful daughters. I'm gonna keep this simple and nice. In the blue corner, we got Brad Ryder, and out of the red corner, we got Randy Shaver. And I think we got it. See? Nice and simple. Didn't have to insult anybody. Would be easy to take shots at those 2 idiots. No reason I gotta say what an overgrown man-baby Dana is, or mention the gap in Nick's teeth. And Ashley? Where would I even start with her? Can't even walk around with a bag of soup without completely destroying herself. Josh? Well, I like Josh. Oh, the things I would do with that man.
Oh my God.
We're still recording?
Yeah, dude.
We could just edit that out, right?
Sorry, we can't.
This is Dad Fights 159.
All right, who was doing a character voice there? Rat Queen Jesus? That was a legitimate person?
Yeah.
I swear to God, it sounded like one of you were just plugging your nose.
No, that was him.
He's funny.
Yeah, that was good.
I got some weekend plans.
Thank you, Rat Queen Jesus. That was funny.
That was awesome.
93X, how do I say this again? HAMS, some say hams, 93X at gmail.com. If you want to give it a shot, an intro. If you want to give that a shot, do an intro for a future dad fight. We appreciate all your emails. Here we go. Again, you know, these are some of the more embarrassing moments, stats, sometimes even all-time records that players and teams have put up. We'll give you everything you need as far as hints. You just got to name the team or the player responsible for the catastrophe. Brad versus Randy here. Let her buck, Cubby.
Many baseball players get charged with an error at some point during their career. But this pitcher has the dubious distinction of being the only one to commit 3 in less than 12 seconds. Thankfully, people don't typically associate his name with that unfortunate 12 seconds of baseball. Instead, he's most commonly associated with the elbow surgery named
Tommy John.
That's the correct answer. Tommy John, who had a sense of humor about it. He said this to his teammates, "Guys, look, I've got 3 more errors in me. Let's get our butts out there and let's start hitting the ball so my next 3 errors won't make a tie game out of it."
I remember that very well. Were they playing the Twins?
No,
Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Milwaukee. I remember that very well. He threw it this way, and it went to nobody. Then he got the ball back and threw it that way, went to nobody. Third time he got the ball, he threw it, and it went to nobody. Tommy John, he was an old man at that point.
He was.
Yeah.
It was his 25th season.
Tommy John was an old man in 1989.
He was a Twins broadcaster for a few years,
yeah,
too.
Yeah. Tommy John. Nice work, Brad Ryder. It's 1 point for Brad. Okay. 3 quarterbacks share the record for most interceptions thrown in a single NFL game in the Super Bowl era. That number is 7 interceptions in one game. 7. The first sorry bastard to do it was an Oakland Raider quarterback in 1977 who had a brutal game against the Denver Broncos. This was just months before he and his Raiders snaked their way into Super Bowl 11 to beat the Vikings. Name that first quarterback to toss
Stabler.
7 picks in a game, and that's correct, Randy Shaver. Kenny Stabler. 7 in a game. Jesus, that's ugly. His final stat line, he was 20 of 40 for 274 yards, 1 touchdown, and 7 interceptions.
Wow.
It was done most recently by Ty Detmer with the Detroit Lions in 2001. The third player, besides Detmer and Stabler on the list, is Steve F. Me Runnin' Sideways DeBerg.
Oh, boy.
He threw 7 INTs while playing for Tampa Bay in 1900 plus 86. Randy Shaver's on the board with a point. Kenny Stabler.
January 20th, 2016, a night this NBA big man would like to forget. He played 23 minutes for the Pistons against the Houston Rockets, and during those 23 minutes, he managed to miss 23 free throws. Thankfully, however, this former UConn Husky, 9th overall pick in the 2012 NBA draft, and current Chicago Bulls center recovered nicely, even making a pair of NBA All-Star games.
Drummond.
Andre Drummond is the correct answer.
This is my favorite one of the entire game.
Oh, really? How
he
come?
missed 23 free throws in a game.
That's impressive.
That is hilarious. I only wish I would have been there to see it.
That team Brad talked about us putting together, we could do that, I bet.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
In his defense, he wasn't 0 for 23 for the night. He made 13 of his 36 free throw attempts.
He went to the line 36 times.
36 times.
Well, clearly they had a strategy. They kept following the guy.
Well, yeah,
Oh,
yeah, I guess. That's true. They probably following him on purpose at some point.
DeAndre Jordan and Wilt Chamberlain are tied for second most missed free throws in a game at 22.
Boy, you guys are hot so far. Nice one. That was Brad Ryder, wasn't it, Wapple?
No.
No, it was Randy.
See, I
Stop it.
don't lose your cool.
Knock that off.
I never am able to keep track of the score, ever.
Stop it.
That's why I have to ask.
Cut it out.
It's 2-1 Randy, you
Yes.
say.
You're always hurting me.
Here's a Hall of Fame big league skipper who got straight up ejected from 162 games in his
Earl Weaver.
Randy is incorrect with his answer of Earl Weaver, so I will read the rest of the question for Brad Ryder. And Brad, it's all you.
Okay.
Hall of Fame big league skipper who got straight up ejected from 162 games in his managerial career. And he also set the single-season record for ejections at 11 when he was managing the Atlanta Braves in 2001.
Bobby Cox.
That makes it 4-0 Brad. No, we're tied at 2. You're correct, Brad. Bobby Cox. Now, one of our favorite baseball characters, Ron Gardenhire.
Yes.
He was close to
He'd
matching.
rival that.
He was close to matching Bobby Cox's single-season record.
Right. Not overall.
No, in both 2006 and 2019, Gardy got tossed 8 times.
I'd be curious to know where Earl Weaver was on that list.
Yeah,
He had to have been top
certainly in the conversation.
Yeah.
Tied at 2. Nice work. Bobby Cox is the correct answer.
These days, the NFL is the hottest ticket in just about every town. Ticket prices are sky high, stadiums packed to the rafters with drunken fans. But that wasn't always the case for this now defunct franchise, who only had 15,000 fans at their final home game December 15th, 1996. Before the team packed up for Tennessee the next season, eventually
Houston Oilers.
It was me.
Brad.
What?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm not getting involved.
I had it all the way out before you started.
He's correct, Randy Shaver.
Yes, it is the Houston Oilers. Although not confirmed, There was a rain-soaked game between the Panthers and Commanders last December in Carolina where a team employee anonymously reported only 5,000 fans went through the turnstiles.
Yeah, they always do that announcer. The ticket sales is the announcement. Not
well, now, yeah,
building.
now it's tickets sold.
And they even goosed that, I feel like, a little bit.
That broke my heart when the Oilers left Houston. Broke my stinking heart in two, Cubby.
Didn't like that one?
But you mended it.
I did?
You did. You mended my broken heart.
Boy, today's been a good day for me, I got to say.
You're on top of things today, man.
Tennessee Titans, just stupid. The Houston Oilers were just fun, and Bum Phillips and all that. They had a good time down there. That sucked. 3-2 somebody.
Brad.
Yeah.
We're going through some of the less impressive records in sports history. Kind of embarrassing. Stuff like that. Players and teams who really stunk it up. And we continue on with this question right here. The NBA record for worst single-game shooting performance by one player was pulled off back in 1991. The player went a historic 0 for 17.
Tim Hardaway.
How the hell do you know that?
Yeah.
How the hell do you know Tim Hardaway already?
I just do.
He's a savant.
He went a historic, Randy Shaver's correct, 0 for 17 from the
when
field.
When he was with Golden State.
Yes. He was playing for the Warriors. Despite that one terrible game, he went on to be a 5-time All-Star. He holds the Miami Heat all-time record with 806 career three-point field goals made. And in 2022, he went straight on into the Basketball Hall of Fame. Tim Hardaway. That was a game against the Wolves when he went 0 for 17. He finished with 2 points. He hit 2 free throws.
And they probably still won.
They did in overtime.
The Heat
of course they did.
Pooh Richardson was the leading scorer for the Wolves that night.
Pooh.
So, wow, Randy, that was impressive that you knew Tim Hardaway. All I had to say was 0 for 17, and he knew Tim Hardaway.
Credit to Hardaway for still chucking up after going 0-11, 12-13.
Well, you got to remember
it's a shooter's mentality.
He didn't meet a shot he didn't like.
In 1991,
right. Shoot till you make one.
The Miami Heat were a brand new team, too.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing Hardaway was about all they had cooking on that roster.
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing now?
I think we're tied up at 3. Is that right?
We are.
All right. Holding on to the ball is one of the most important responsibilities of an NFL quarterback.
Dante Culpepper.
Whoa, dude.
What?
I was ready for that one.
What?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
I'm a Vikings fan, and I remember that.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, the gist is he set a record for 23 fumbles in a season.
Are we gonna do Are we gonna do a name that tune type of a?
I can get it in one sentence. Mm-hmm. Dante was known for fumbling during his career here. A lot of people saying it had to do with him having small hands. I remember that.
He did have very small hands for his body,
for
his
big
frame.
Guy. He finished with 102 career fumbles, which is still a lot less than the NFL record of 166, held by another Minnesota Viking quarterback, Brett Favre.
Brent. That's ridiculous. Wow, the last couple questions have been impressive. The boys are...
Yeah, either of you guys want to take a blind guess before Nick even starts reading the question?
Does that make it 4-3, Brad?
Yes.
Wow.
And this is one that I wouldn't be surprised if one of you jump on almost immediately again. Here we effing go. We're looking for you to name this here former NBA. Now remember, not all this stuff is like ugly and disgusting. Some of it's just kind of embarrassing. So that's the lead up to this one. We're looking for you to name this here former NBA point guard, a former Timberwolf, whose head must have been spinning like a top when he was traded 4 times in 6 days back in the year 2015. In 6 days, he went from the Orlando Magic to the Memphis Grizzlies to the Charlotte Hornets and then on to the Oklahoma City Thunder and finally up to the Toronto Raptors. Back in his college days at the University of Oregon, he set the school record for assists and the Pac-10 all-time record for consecutive free throws made.
Oh, I can't think of his name.
I can't either, and I was there.
God, what is his name? I could see him. Oh, my God. I did a story on his free throw. I can't think of his name.
It's even worse, Randy. I was working for the frickin' team at the time, and I can't remember his name.
I did a story with him about making those free throws in a row.
You heard the Costco intercom fart. You both ran out of time. The correct answer is Luke Ridnour.
Oh, man.
So both of you knew it. You just couldn't come up with the name.
Dang it! I couldn't think of his
the
name.
worst.
So we get Tim Hardaway and Dante Culpepper, but we can't get that.
I could not think of his
A
name.
guy
I
you
could
both
see
met
him, but-
personally.
I could see him too. I knew what number he was. I just couldn't think of his
13.
name. Yeah,
I really loved
know.
Luke Ridden. I loved watching him play back. He was very smooth, very likable guy.
If you'd asked me what number he was, I would have got it right away. Dang it.
And by the way, Luke said he found the whole thing funny because he was just hanging at home with his family watching all these trades play out on television. In 6 days, he went to 4 different teams, and I think he just retired, I think.
He took a year off and then decided to announce his retirement.
So there you go. Still 4-3, Brad. Neither of the boys could get that one.
You wouldn't blame someone for guessing the Minnesota Vikings have the most team arrests since the year 2000, since they've had their share of classics. Oh, my God. I thought I just fast-forwarded through time, and I missed who won. Who won the game?
I thought we were going in the future.
There's the May 2005 arrest of former Viking running back Ontario Smith at the Twin Cities airport carrying dried urine and a mysterious device later identified as a Whizzinator. Yes, a sex simulator toy often used alternatively to beat drug tests. Then the early Christmas present for football fans about a half year later, the aforementioned December 15th, 2005 Bang Boat Day, where Lake Minnetonka lost its innocence. But it's actually this AFC West franchise who had the most players getting handcuffed, with notables including wide
Denver Broncos.
That's right. Wow. Brandon Marshall, and we were going to mention Von Miller. Denver Broncos. The top 5 goes like this. Broncos, 47 arrests since 2000. Vikings, 46. The Bengals, 42. Jaguars, 41. And Buccaneers, 36. What did they call us? The Bengals of the North for a while?
I think so.
Bengals of the North.
What's the score, Wapple?
4-4.
Finish him. We're up to the final regulation question for this edition of Dad Fights, where we're talking about embarrassing, awful type records in sports. And this is so strange. This was not a setup. Randy, when you were talking earlier about ball players being hit by pitches.
Yeah.
It's eerie that we have come to that very topic here for our 10th question here in Dad Fights. Listen closely. Recognizable all-time big league greats like Craig Biggio and Don Baylor landed on the top 5 career list for times hit by a pitch during an appearance at the plate. We're looking for the active big league leader for getting plunked at the plate. He's a 3-time All-Star that started his career in San Diego, moved on to Chicago, where he
Freddie Freeman.
Brad Ryder has jumped in and said Fred Freeman. That is incorrect. I'll finish the answer for Randy, and Brad, you may have just boned yourself, as Josh would say. He's a 3-time All-Star that started his career in San Diego, moved on to Chicago, where he won a fluke World Series with the Cubs in 20+16. Nowadays, he annoys Twins fans as the big lefty first baseman for the stupid New York Yankees.
Anthony Rizzo.
Fatality.
You win. That's another comeback win.
Comeback.
Get pumped. Randy's pumped. Let him get pumped, Brad.
I don't think Brad's won in the year 2020.
Oh, I have to. Stop it.
I don't think he has.
Yes, I have.
I don't think so.
I think he has one.
Yeah, I got one.
Yeah, I do. I have one.
When you were having that conversation earlier, Randy, about Ron Hunt.
Yes.
Of the Montreal Expos and how many times he got hit by a pitch. I'm just sitting here thinking, please don't talk about the active leader in hit by. That was not a setup. It just came up, and it just happened to be part of our Dad Fights trivia contest. The top 10 all-time big leaguers hit by pitch. 10, Frank Robinson. 9, Chase Utley. There's Anthony Rizzo at number 8. He's the active leader.
Yeah.
I don't remember number 7, Dan McGann. That sounds made up.
Yep.
That's a name you come up with when you're panicking to come up with a fake name.
What's your name?
Yeah, when the cops pull you over.
Well, what's your first name, Dan? What's your last name? McGann. Number 6 is Ron Hunt. 5, Jason Kendall. 4, Don Baylor. 3, Tommy Tucker. 2, Biggio. And 1 is a guy that played way back in the day named Huey Jennings. Nice work.
I thought when you were going to do the fumbles, Brad was great, spitting out Culpepper. I know the answer for the quarterback who's lost the most fumbles in one game, and that's Lenny Dawson of Kansas City. He fumbled the ball away 7 times in one game.
Oh, wow.
I was waiting. I was about to say his name, and then Brad, And when Brad said Culpepper, I thought, oh, God, I just won it. So congratulations to Brad.
Do you remember anything about the game? Was it a pouring rain type of
I don't recall the circumstances. I just know that Lenny Dawson holds the NFL record as a quarterback for most fumbles in a game was 7.
The late, great Len Dawson.
Yep.
Nice work, gentlemen. Dig it. Dig your effort today in dad fights, and we hope
I think Brad needs to go downstairs and pump a little out.
Yeah.
He's been terrible lately.
And
Brad's been
I haven't been terrible. I just haven't won.
That was a good show.
It's kind of the same thing.
Well, yeah, I just haven't won. Nobody cares.
That's true. That is true.
Unless I win.
He's
I wouldn't
correct.
say that.
Unless I win.
Then you
nobody
care.
cares.
Except for Randy. We'll see you on Monday.
All right.
All right, we'll be back in a flash.
Half-assed morning show.
They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act, they're a nuisance.
93X.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
Standard Heating is having their 94-year celebration. They have special offers just for you this February. Whether you need a new furnace or a tune-up, they have something special for everyone. Visit standardheating.com to save today.
Business has always been about turning a profit, making money. But can it stand for something more? Something beyond dollars and cents? We think so. We think that today, business has a higher calling, a purpose to be fair and just, to do right by their workers, customers, communities, and the environment. And it turns out companies successful doing that also do better for their bottom line. When you see the Just Capital seal, it means this company is a force for good. Visit justcapital.com to learn more.
Half-assed morning show.
69. This show sucks. Who are you, fart knockers?
93X.
It's balls. We're back already?
That was quick. Mm-hmm. Wapple chose the world's quickest song.
What the hell more can we do?
Why don't you just play it twice?
Okay.
We're back already. I don't know about this. It is 8:32 here on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. It's our Friday. We hope everybody and all of y'all are doing all right. We do. Did we do anything about these stupid tickets yet?
Not yet.
All right, let's go ahead with this. Right now on the Luther Bloomington Kia text line. That is the toughest sponsor I've ever had to read in my radio career. It's not their fault, it's mine. I have such a difficult time with Luther Bloomington Kia. But that's our text line. Text Panther, Panther, to 651-989-9393 for a shot to win tickets to Steel Panther Thursday, May 2nd in Mankato at the Mayo Event Center. Probably know some people down there. Mankato, prize furnished by Pepper Entertainment. We appreciate it quite a bit. Everyone knows somebody in Mankato, right?
I think so.
Mm-hmm. Good luck with that. Who here goes to the gym with their free time regularly or even just once in a while? Who goes to the gym and what do you do there?
I go to the gym.
What do you do at the gym?
I do little bit of everything.
Little bit of everything.
Yeah, yesterday was leg day, so a lot of leg stuff.
You're pressing weights up and down with your legs, or are you just running on a treadmill?
Weights. Yeah, mostly weight training.
Squats?
Yes, sir. Oh, those
lunges
kills too. Yup.
Oh,
hate lunges too, but yeah, it's actually I've been pretty proud of myself that I've been going consistently for a little over a month now.
Do you work your abductors?
Yeah, those are my
What about
favorite.
your adductors? Oh, really?
Yeah.
Working what, Cubby?
The inside and outside of your legs.
What? Oh, inside and outside of your legs.
You know, you do these like little fly things like
Oh.
Yep.
I see what you're doing. It's like you're getting ready for a gynecology exam.
Exactly.
The inside of your legs.
And then the outside, then you go.
It's funny because at one of the old gyms I used to go to, that machine used to be like pointed out towards the rest of the gym.
Oh.
So it was kind of like, it was like you were putting on a show. But the one I go to now, they face the wall, which is a good move, I think.
You ought not wear your Umbro shorts when you're doing those open and closed leg workout. So Ashley goes to the gym, and she says she does a little bit of everything. Who else?
I go in phases, and recently I'm in a no gym at all phase.
Okay.
Boy,
I sure used to.
Years.
Mm-hmm.
I sure used to go.
Yeah, you used to. You got to have some good gym stories, Josh. You used to be cut, yoked, pumped, everything.
Well, there was a couple of guys, and I'm sure everybody who's gone to the gym has seen this, that would like to flex in the mirror, and they also like to be very loud when they're, getting their pumps in, right?
Yeah.
And it was these two dudes, and they were always together. But one thing they would do is they'd walk around, and they'd correct people's postures.
No.
The worst.
Yeah. Like one time, I was absolutely destroying my biceps. Just really going for it. Curling.
Yeah.
I had just recently moved up from pink to purple.
Nice.
Right? So I'm doing these curls. And the guy came up behind me and put his arms around me and was like helping me. He was like spotting me. Like we were in an embrace. And in some countries, we're married at that point.
You didn't ask for this assistance. He just came up behind you and was helping you with your form, hands on.
I'd never met him. Never had a conversation, nothing.
Did he work at the gym, or is he just a random gym bro?
He was a gym bro.
Okay.
No, don't touch me.
If anybody else in our listening audience, if you go to the gym, text us. What do you do there? Text us. I want to hear all about it. Oh, this is funny. Welder Woman Jesus says those adductor and abductor machines for the insides and outsides of your legs. I just learned this 3 minutes ago. I'd never heard of that in my life. Welder Woman Jesus says, because, you're opening your legs and closing and opening and closing. She calls that machine the good girl, bad girl. So you go
hilarious.
good girl, and now you're a bad girl, and back to a good girl, and that's funny.
That is really funny.
That's all I'm going to be able to think about now.
That's
very
great.
clever.
That's great.
So, you brought up the mirror, Josh. I had a question. Is there, for you personally, Josh, is there an internal time limit you put on yourself for how many consecutive minutes you can look in the mirror at the gym?
I don't. Outside of double checking form, I don't look in the mirror.
You don't like the mirror much because you have very low self-esteem.
Correct. Yeah, no, just I'll make sure that my form's decent.
Has anyone ever stared at a piece of gym equipment not sure what it does?
Oh, yeah.
When I first started, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like wait to see somebody else go pick it up and see what they did with it.
Yup,
I could try it yourself.
Dana.
What the hell
I do
is
like
that
those
thing over there?
Every once in a while, you'll see a video somebody posted of someone completely effing up a particular machine. They have no idea what they're doing.
I like that one video. The guy pulls down the pull-down bar, and then he goes back up with it.
Oh,
yes. Too much weight.
Yeah, way too much weight on it. It picked him up right off his seat.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
It wasn't that long ago there was a video everywheres of some poor gal running on the treadmill, and she fell down, and it just sucked the pants right off of her.
That's right.
And her little hiney is hanging out. A little pair of thong underwears. That damn what did I just say it's called? Treadmill. It just sucked her pants right off of her ass.
That's terrifying.
And then the treadmill has your pants, so it's like, oh, great.
Yeah, it just swallows them and poops them out later.
The locker room, try to find someone to help me.
Some of those gyms are more like country clubs now. It's like a social hour, and it's for all the amenities, not necessarily the exercise equipment.
Well, some of the fancy ones have a little restaurant, a little cafe, right?
Yeah,
definitely.
And I can't afford to go to one of those. I wish, though. That'd be nice.
Ashley, do you wear sunglasses at the gym?
No.
What?
What?
That's what you got to do. You wear sunglasses.
Oh, I'll try that out today.
Or
So
you
you
put
can-
the sunglasses behind your head.
Well, that doesn't do you any good. If you got, you got to have the sunglasses on because you look cool and you can check out everybody without them knowing it. That's why you wear the sunglasses
That's
at the
a good
gym.
point.
Have you anyone here ever hurt themselves at the gym?
No.
I've pinched my fingers between dumbbells.
Yeah.
I just did
stings.
that. And there was this girl that was like, we were kind of like facing each other, so we kept making awkward eye contact, one of those kind of things. And she saw me pinch my finger, and I freaked out. It hurt so bad. She was laughing at me.
Out of my Vulcan mind, Jesus has texted in. Appreciate that. I was asking, who out there goes to the gym and what do you do? Out of my Vulcan mind, Jesus goes to the gym and he does DDP yoga.
I've heard about that.
If you don't know what that means, Diamond Dallas Page, the former television wrestler, put together some yoga book. He's a big yoga guy, and I think a lot of folks have bought his CD or whatever you do these days to learn about his style of yoga. That's interesting.
I'll have to check that out. I love yoga.
It saved Jake the Snake's life.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Delivery driver, she jumped up on a bench for box jumps. Her back seized up and had to go to the ER.
Oh, no. Oh, I mean, believe it or not, many, many years ago, I used to duck into a gym when my brother's a big powerlifting gorilla, and so I'd go hang out with him. He would do all that hernia-causing powerlifting, and I would just, I'd walk on a treadmill for a little while and do some abdominal stuff. But one day a dude died at the gym while I was there.
No.
Unfortunately, my wife has worked at gyms her whole life, and that's happened a few times.
So, that wasn't good.
Was it like an old timer? Just their heart?
He was a little older, and I think he was disco dancing on that treadmill, and it was just the lights went out, and that was it.
Oh, I'd be so pissed if I died at the gym. I'm out here trying to make myself healthier.
E-Rock Jesus, you'd be upset if you died at the gym?
Yeah.
This is what you'd say to yourself. This is what I get for trying to be healthier.
Yeah,
way to go, me.
Yeah.
E-Rock Jesus fell asleep in the tanning bed prior to pooping himself on leg day.
Oh, no.
How did it start? I'm sorry?
The first bad thing was falling asleep in the tanning bed.
Okay.
And then was doing some leg work and pooped himself. Maybe he was doing the good girl, bad girl.
The most unique workout I ever saw somebody do at the gym, I got done with my workout and I was in this yoga room. Lights are kind of dim, it's just kind of peaceful, and I was getting a stretch in. And all of a sudden I hear just like click, 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 click. And I looked behind me and there's a woman there in straight up platform stripper heels. And I was like, oh, wow, what's going on here? And she's like, yeah, I'm a dancer. I got new shoes. I'm just trying to break them in. I'd rather do it here at the gym than fall on my face with the new shoes at the club.
That sounds dangerous.
Yeah.
So she was
smart.
More or less practicing how to walk on 12-inch
heels,
platforms and such.
Bricked my pants, Jesus. Watched a guy snort pre-workout an energy supplement right there in the locker room.
What?
Further text messages here on life at the gym. One listener, I don't have their name, they say elastic band fails are awesome to watch at the gym.
Oh, yeah.
That hurts so bad.
I've had that happen. That is stingy. What it do, Jesus says, if he ever dies at the gym, load the bar up with more weight so it looked like I was lifting a lot.
Oh, man.
Oh, no. Simon says, when he was 18, he dropped a 185-pound bar on his face doing a decline bench, and he needed a few stitches.
Oh, I bet.
I'd imagine.
Oh.
Ow-wee.
Sounds awful. That'll tear the nose right off of your skull if you're not. There were a few people on the internet a day or two ago talking about the gym. You want to hear some of the bad things that have happened at the gym? I mean, I guess I did mention that a man dropped dead, but some of the other bad things that can happen at the gym. I mean, what I remember about my limited exposure to the gym that I used to go to, it was just kind of gross in general. Everything was kind of damp, and everyone smelled bad.
I like the crappier gyms, personally. Those are the ones I like to go to.
It's just...
You like that gym from Rocky 3 that they train in.
Yeah, I mean, the kind of the crappier, the better, in my opinion.
One of the grossest things to me at the gym, and I've been seeing it a lot lately, is when people take their shoes off and they're walking around. I'm like, do you want athlete's foot?
Talking about bare feet?
Yeah. Is that a goal of yours, to get a foot fungus? Ugh.
You like the danky, skanky gyms like in Rocky, huh, Josh?
Yeah, I do.
To beat this guy... God dang it, what's the next line? Remember that line from Rocky 5?
I thought I had
to beat
that
this guy, you need some blank.
Speed, and you don't got it.
Yeah, you need speed. You don't have it. Let's start building some hurting bombs.
Says something like, you got calcium deposits in all your joints.
Right.
Sparring is out.
And Polly says, I had that problem.
To beat this guy, you need speed. You don't have it. And your knees can't take the pounding, so hard running is out. And you got arthritis in your neck, and you've got calcium deposits on most of your joints, so sparring is out. I had that problem. So what we'll be calling on is good old-fashioned blunt force trauma, horsepower, heavy-duty cast iron pile-driving punches that will have to hurt so much they'll rattle his ancestors. Every time you hit him with his shot, it's got to feel like he tried kissing the express train. Yeah, let's start building some hurting bombs.
Awesome.
And then the music kicked in. Does anyone else, aside from myself, want to admit that they began openly crying at that moment?
I'm happy to admit it.
Oh, my
Almost
God.
that entire movie.
They went right into the theme music, and I just started bawling like a child.
I started watching season 2 of The Family Stallone, the Paramount Plus reality series about the Stallone family. And they did a training montage. It was absolutely hilarious with the music and everything.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
you
I
guys
want to
should
check
watch
that
it.
out.
Sly's so cool. You guys, I think you'd like
Coolest
it.
guy that ever lived, but...
You said Paramount Plus, right?
Paramount Plus. And you know what? His buddy, I didn't realize this, his good buddy, the Fonz, Henry Winkler, they're hanging out. John Lovitz, he made an appearance on there.
I mean, come on. Sly and Henry Winkler in the same room?
Yep.
I could not handle that. I am not built to handle that much cool in one. We'll get back to conversations on the gym. I never gave you some of these awful things that have happened at the gym.
The only really way to start to get rid of them is to vacuum them up, sweep them up, put them in a large garbage can, and then just kind of throw them away.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Boy, we got a hell of a reaction on our text machine. Talking about going to the gym, we simply asked, who out there goes to the flipping gym? And when you get there, what do you do? A lot of folks texted in as to what they do over there at the gym. One listener said, unfortunately, I watch burned out old men drying off their penises with a blow dryer.
I've seen that so many times.
That was my least favorite thing about going to like the YMCA and whatnot when we were kids. You know, you had to go into the dude's locker room and there was just a swinging D contest in there. I don't know why.
I never liked that either.
These older guys, and this is 40 years ago. I don't know why these older guys wanted to walk around for 30 minutes naked talking about the twins.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's put a freaking towel on. What's the matter with you? But it was, I don't know, some kind of male bonding that I never got involved in.
You know how you can cut a tree? You know, you cut it down and then you can count the rings to see how old it is?
Yes.
With people in the gym, grooming habits will tell you what decade they're from.
Absolutely.
And those old guys, they keep it.
Yeah.
They keep that stuff.
Yeah, they try to keep that little
However God
sumbitch
made
warm.
them,
Yeah.
They keep it that way.
Keep like a blanket around it. What do you do at the gym? Here's a listener who says, I like to watch the big dudes go down to one knee after they max out a deadlift.
WNA Jesus said when he was in Iraq, he'd go to the gym every day to get Dairy Queen. Apparently they had Dairy Queen at the gym.
What?
Yeah.
That'd be sweet.
One of our listeners says you don't need the gym when you have a shake weight.
I've never known anyone that had a shake weight.
Do they work?
I don't know.
I knew somebody who had one because I know I've shaken one or two, and it didn't belong to me. It must have been a girlfriend or something, partied with a shake weight, sure. Okay, text machine, get ready. I think we're going to get a reaction out of this one. A listener texted in, said he almost knocked himself out at the gym in college. He hit himself in the nose doing a power snatch. Do you guys know what that is?
No.
Aside from the dirty jokes, you don't know what a power snatch is?
Nope.
I want to know what a power snatch is. Interesting comment here from a listener. I don't know if gyms want this information passed around, but Riddle of Steel, Jesus says, the gym is a great place to live out of your car. You go in there, you get a shower, you watch a little TV. All right.
When I worked at a gym, there was somebody, because I worked overnights, there was someone that came in to do that a couple times a week. And yeah, they never worked out. They just came in and used the facilities and got out of there.
Does anyone know what this means? A listener says, I go to several gyms so I can earn enough badges to challenge the Elite Four.
Pokemon Go.
I had no idea.
That's a
good.
reference to the video game Pokemon Goes.
Yep. That's funny.
Bang, bang, Jesus. Oh, no. His favorite thing to do at the gym is crop dust people from, he goes from one machine to the next. He crop dusts them, and then he watches the people stare at each other, wondering who. That's gross, dude.
Yeah, that's pretty gross.
Another one of our listeners goes to the gym to eat sandwiches and stare at hot girls.
Eat sandwiches.
Balls on pizza, Jesus. Says, I've never been to a gym, but yesterday I saw 2 bald eagles having sex.
Whoa.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I've never seen that before.
And finally, I told you there's some terrible things that have happened at the gym that internet dorks were jaw-jacking about here very recently. A dude shaved his pubes in the sink in the locker room and just left the hair all over the place.
Why are you doing that?
You know, I've heard that is not uncommon. Folks trimming that up and just decide, hey, you know what, sink, it's yours. And they do nothing about it.
In a public bathroom?
Yes.
He brought something with. All right, honey, I'm ready to go to the gym. Well, do you have your tank top and your shorts and your tennis shoes? Yes, I do. Do you have your pube trimmer? Of course I do. I'm going to the gym.
That's the only place I do it.
Okay, back to the behavior in the men's locker room. Here's a guy who locked eyes, unfortunately, with a man who was flossing himself with his towel. And they locked eyes, and it wouldn't unlock.
Does anyone here floss? I don't floss.
No.
With the towel?
Yeah.
No.
I was in the sauna once and, sitting there in my gym shorts and a hoodie and something, and the guy comes in and he's just wearing a towel and just unleashes that towel, does like a big stretch, and just sits down like 2 feet away from me, just bare ass naked.
Oh, really? Yeah. Were you the only 2 in the sauna?
We're only 2 in there, yep.
What's going on?
Hey, buddy.
Nice penis.
See the game last night?
Yeah, I wouldn't be too comfortable with that, I'll be honest.
I didn't stay in too much longer, Josh.
Yeah, right. I bet you did.
Okay, fine. I was the one that got naked, and he was the one that left.
And here's the deal. This is just terrible. But, we hear the stories about those yoga studios. It's just a gas bin. Because you're folding yourself up sideways and you're doing the upstairs dog or whatever they call it, and it's just a gas bin, is it not, Josh? We've heard the stories.
Yeah, absolutely. My wife teaches that and says that's very common. Can you imagine being like in a heated yoga environment and that's going on?
So, and I can totally understand if you're pressing weights, maxing out on this and that. I mean, even if you're not, you're straining yourself.
Yeah.
Accidents are going to happen. But this is just, when you work out, Ashley, do you put on a set of those headphones and listen to jock jams or something? Do you?
Yep.
Bam, 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 bam. That kind of, okay. You put on the headphones.
Yep.
Here's a gal who was, she's doing her abs and her legs and her legs and her abs, up, down, backwards, and sideways, and she says, quote, I queefed so loud.
Oh! I was not expecting that. Oh, my God.
I could hear it over my own headphones.
Oh!
I would leave.
Be rat!
Time for a new gym.
Yep,
and she
absolutely.
thought, I can never come back to this place ever again.
Aren't you that loud queefing lady?
Yeah. I feel like a formal apology to everybody in the gym at that point is necessary, too.
That's awful.
Queefing. We all do it, everybody. Come on, be mature. She could hear it over her headphones.
That's so loud.
I appreciate y'all trading your gym stories, though. That's fun, because I don't. It's not anything that I normally would talk about. It's interesting.
A lot of fit listeners out there.
Yeah.
A lot of stories.
What, do you want to live forever?
I got to get back into it.
I apologize. I'm afraid we're going to miss some shout-outs, and I hate that. They come in so fast. Our text system is less than ideal. So if we miss one, certainly do apologize. Here's a few that we did get. This person says, I'd like to say happy birthday to my niece Savannah from her crazy uncle, eating, drinking, running Jesus. Personal thank you to Devani's for the nice merchandise package they dropped us off last week. That was very sweet. I love me some Devani's. I already spilled some of your pizza on my new shirt thanks to you guys, so thank you. Best of luck to the balls of I'd Eat Ashley's skin tags, Jesus, getting a vasectomy today.
Oh, my God.
Good for you.
It's good. Well, it is good, and not just for him. He said his wife is pretty excited about it because she can finally rest easy knowing that he can't get all of his girlfriends pregnant. Happy 22nd birthday.
Is he ever going to do anything about those skin tags?
Ashley's skin tags? He wants to eat them.
He wants Ashley's skin tags.
Yeah, I'd eat Ashley's
skin
skin.
I thought he wanted Ashley to eat his skin. What time is it?
You got to listen, man.
What time is it, Josh?
Happy 22nd birthday to Thomas from Mom. Wisco Tender, cat with a K, Jesus. Happy birthday to CFH Minnesota bass player Jesus from Farty Britches, Jesus. Happy birthday tomorrow to Nick's next roommate, Jesus from Propane, Jesus.
I remember her. I'll always remember her.
HVAC Delivery Jesus texting a shout out to his grandpa, 84 years old yesterday. And happy birthday to Miles, turning the big 01 today from Dad, 4 before 34 Jesus, and have a sexy weekend.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
Standard Heating is having their 94-year celebration. They have special offers just for you this February. Whether you need a new furnace or a tune-up, they have something special for everyone. Visit standardheating.com to save today.